the maximum level expert. She thrives in interstellar riches. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1151, a little bit of a hot man one. Because when Jiu left the Star Network world, Lu Yan also left. The room, dominated by black, white, and grey, was quite cold, without even a touch of bright colors that would make people feel good. Only the rays of light falling through the gauze curtains could add a rare sense of warmth to this extremely cold space. After Lu Yan slowly opened his eyes, he subconsciously looked at the head of the bed. He saw that the white blonde doll was still sitting there obediently. Even the cute smile on her face was exactly the same as what he had seen before. He couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, and then he took out the small box that Wen Jiu had stuffed in from the Ziggy space. You know, what he wears and uses on a daily basis is all made of excellent and superior materials. So he just touched the box and knew that the material was very ordinary and could even be called inferior. But he still held the box carefully, as if he was treating some rare treasure. With a snap, the things in the box also revealed their true colors. The silver chain was strung with azure gems, shining brightly under the afterglow of the setting sun. Although the bracelet was made with exquisite craftsmanship, just like those sold in high-end stores, he recognized it at a glance. It was made by Wen Jiu himself. Because he had received earrings made by him before, he could tell that the craftsmanship and design were all from the same person. He gently picked up the bracelet and put it on carefully. The size was just right, without any deviation. It was neither too loose nor too tight. He couldn't help but curl up the corners of his lips with a touch of joy. But this joy did not last long and was swept away by an uninvited guest. Lu Yan, do you know what you are doing? Lu Ci was wearing a well-cut black suit, and his thick black hair was combed meticulously. The smell of alcohol on his body suddenly suppressed the original cool sandalwood in the room. It was obvious that he had hurriedly rushed in from the banquet. Because Lu Wen, who is not only the head of the Lu family, but also the person in charge of the 1st Military Region and the current head of the federal headquarters, the Lu family received many invitations to attend. However, Lu Wen who could not attend every banquet, so he distributed some of these invitations to Lu Ci and Lu Yan. Lu Ci learned about Lu Yan's early exit when he attended the banquet. Because Lu Yan rarely attended these banquets before he was officially revealed. So no one would say anything if he left early, and everyone just thought he didn't understand the ways of the world. But Lu Ci was different. When he was 7 or 8 years old, he began to attend various banquets with Lu Wen, who is the eldest son of the Lu family, and learned how to handle the relationship between various families. Therefore, even if he knew that Lu Yan left early, he couldn't just abandon others and go back to ask for punishment. So when the banquet just ended, he got on the hovercraft and returned to the Lu family as quickly as possible. Who knew that, as soon as he entered Lu Yan's room, he saw that the other party was wearing a low-quality bracelet and a rare happy smile on his face. He didn't even need to ask to know who made this bracelet, because he had learned from his assistant on his way back to the Lu family about the series of things that happened after Lu Yan left the banquet and entered the Star Network world to look for Wen Jiu. Take that garbage down. Lu Ci took a few steps forward while suppressing his anger. He really couldn't understand what happened to Lu Yan. Why did he become so stupid for an ordinary girl? As the young master of the Lu family, he had seen all kinds of good things. Now, because of a crude and inferior bracelet, he showed a joyful expression that he had hardly seen before. If Lu Yan really liked these decorations, it would be fine. He could help him buy all the bracelets of major brands. Whether it was a finished product or a custom-made product, it was just a matter of one word for him. But this bracelet was not possible, because it was linked to someone. This is not garbage. Lu Yan changed his previous joyful expression and just lifted his eyelids very coldly. After saying that, he put the bracelet back into the box and put the box back into the wisdom ring space. Every move he made was extremely gentle, as if he was treating a fragile treasure. Seeing this, Lucy I took a few deep breaths and then said coldly, "Don't forget your identity. She is very different from you. She is just a poor orphan from a low-level planet. She can only apply to the Worstria military academy. You and she are destined to take completely different paths. You shouldn't mess up your mind for such a person. Besides, your father is already choosing a suitable person for you, so you should break up with her as soon as possible." In the past, when he said this, Lu Yan just turned away coldly, as if he didn't hear anything. But today, the other party's brows were cold, and then he opened his thin lips and slowly replied, "What if I want to mess up my mind?" You. Looking at Lu Yan's still indifferent face, he suddenly felt that something was out of control. Do you think Wen Jiu is really like that on the surface? She is a low-level person from a low-level planet. She can use all means to climb up. Not to mention her cheating in the Star Network world. She is a reserve military student who doesn't train and study well. She only knows how to take shortcuts to stir up the heat and earn star coins all day long. Do you think such a person can be a good girl? The reason why she treats you well now is because she knows your identity and she wants to use you to continue to climb up. I have seen a lot of people like this, but you rarely contacted people before, so you can't recognize people for a while. Maybe it is a bit difficult for others to check Wen Jiu's information. But for him, checking Wen Jiu's background is just a matter of minutes. So he is very clear about the inferior things that the other party did behind the scenes to earn star coins. At such a young age, all he thinks about is making star coins. He has seen many such greedy people. Only Lu Yan, who rarely interacts with outsiders, would be deceived by Wen Jiu's seemingly innocent appearance. Hearing this, Lu Yan was silent for a moment. In fact, he really didn't like arguing with Lucy I, because he and the other party had different ideas, so he felt that it was meaningless to say more. But maybe he was in a good mood today and was willing to say a few more words. Or maybe Lucy I mentioned Wen Jiu, which made him more oblivious. In short, he finally pulled the corner of his mouth and said indifferently, "I just like bad ones." Lucy I's anger was like being poured with a basin of cold water. "What did you say?" "I said I like bad ones." His tone at this time was flat, as if he was talking about what to eat for supper. Sauce. Today's third update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little angels. Whisper. Who knows? I went straight to the dormitory after class, turned on the computer and started typing, which shocked my roommates. Chapter 1152, Reunion Dinner 1. Meanwhile, Wen Jiu was busy in the kitchen. Although she had the help of Hukiki and Miss Tao, she was still busy and her head was buzzing. The main reason was that she spent too much time in the Star Network world, which delayed her original cooking time, so she could only rush to work in the kitchen. Fortunately, Hukiki and Miss Tao were reliable. When the fox and the bionic man had nothing to do in the afternoon, they washed and cut all the ingredients in advance. So now she is mainly responsible for cooking, and she wants to make the meal before the Spring Festival Gala starts. "Kiki, can you help me get the stove ready?" After Wen Jiu put the ingredients for stewing chicken soup into the clay pot and lit the fire, he immediately walked out with a whole processed duck. This is one of the heavy dishes she prepared for the reunion dinner tonight, and it must be successful at once. Although she has never made this dish before, it does not prevent her from being full of confidence in it. Please, she is a genius little chef. Alright. Hukiki was standing in the small garden, constantly turning the jujube in the stove to make the flames burn more vigorously. This stove was custom made by Wen Jiu at the gold panning shop, and he spent a lot of star coins just to let everyone eat the most authentic fruitwood roast duck. "Don't turn the firewood yet, come and help me hang the duck in." Wen Jiu estimated that the temperature in the stove was just right, so he hung the fresh duck in. Although roast duck can also be made in an electric oven, she thinks that roast duck made in an electric oven is not as delicious as that baked in an oven. After all, roast duck roasted over an open flame will be more fragrant, and the fat will not be retained too much to cause greasiness. After she hung the duck in the oven, she taught Hukiki how to check the temperature, and also reminded her to remember to change the position of the duck, so that the duck, that is evenly heated, will be more delicious when roasted. Oh, I remember it. Hukiki promised solemnly, as long as Yao is here, I'm here. I will defend the deliciousness of Yao to the death. Hearing this, Wen Jiu wiped his sweat silently. There is no need to be so nervous, it's just a roast duck. If the roasting fails, the worst that can happen is that it will be a reunion dinner. This dish was not prepared at all. However, seeing Hukiki's excitement, she didn't say these words after all. Then she went back to the kitchen to check on Miss Tao's progress in peeling crabs. These crabs were sent by Ming Yahan, and they are said to be the most famous specialty of a certain planet. Each crab is full of crab roe, enough for her to make many crab dishes. Miss Tao, tell me when you finished peeling the crabs, I'll go mix the stuffing for the dumplings first. After saying that, Miss Tao nodded and said, okay, boss, I'll peel the roe of each crab cleanly. Although Miss Tao and Tao Xiaotao are not real people, they are still happy about the festival. Therefore, when Jiu gave them a holiday during the spring festival and let them stay in the small villa to spend the spring festival with him. Of course, the monsters also had a holiday. She was not a Wen Baopi. But considering that there would be frequent visits from humans during the spring festival, she sent all the monsters such as Uzaosi to the shelter center. It just so happened that the monsters could celebrate the Monster Spring Festival without having to worry about being discovered by humans all the time, and they could have a relaxing holiday. As for Hukiki and Hubaba, the two little foxes refused to leave no matter what, so she left them in the villa. Anyway, these two are already permanent monsters, and they know how to deal with sudden visitors, and they will not be as easily frightened as other monsters. Boss. Can I go to the shelter tomorrow to play? When Jiu had just finished mixing the dumpling stuffing, when Hubaba rushed in. Hearing this, she continued to work while answering, of course, but you have to take the floating bus by yourself, and the special car driver also needs to take a vacation these days. Okay. Hubaba smiled flatteringly, then can I bring a small toy with me? When she heard this, she was stunned for a moment before she realized that the other party was talking about the plush doll she made by herself. In order to save money to buy clothes for the cotton doll, she bought some cloth and tried to make clothes herself. Because there was still a lot of cloth left, she made a few dolls and gave them to Hukiki and Baba as one of the spring festival gifts. If you want to take it, take it. She knew that the other party wanted to show off when she saw Hubaba's look, but don't play in the shelter for too long. It's okay for Hubaba to show off at the shelter, maybe it can even arouse the desire of those monsters to fight. Wait, she seemed to have forgotten something. Maybe it was because she was too hasty to log off before, or maybe her friends kept urging her, so she actually forgot such an important thing. She forgot to give the cotton dolls new clothes to Luyan. Isn't this a waste of the star coins she spent on buying fabrics and the time she spent on making clothes? Thinking of this, she immediately opened the light curtain panel, wanting to ask the other party when he was free to take the cotton doll's clothes away. However, she had just opened the light curtain panel when she saw Uruman walk in with a happy face. Seeing this, she couldn't help but ask curiously, Teacher Yu, why are you in such a good mood all of a sudden? Did Uncle Zhu hand in his salary card? Go away, don't ask about adults' affairs. The other party just walked over happily and then patted her on the back a few times. You little girl is really capable. You can even handle the beloved son of President Liu. I think you have a bright future. But you have to tell me in detail when you did it and when you handled him. And what kind of personality and temper he has, and what his abilities are in all aspects. Otherwise I won't agree. Uruman's voice had just fallen, and she saw Zikingayu and others prying at the kitchen door, revealing their eavesdropping heads. Seeing this, Wen Jiu suddenly felt a little confused. Because she was first shocked by Zikingayu and others' gossiping ability, and then shocked by Uruman's attitude of watching the fun. How come in such a big house, there is not a single person who doesn't gossip? I'm not. She gritted her teeth and stared at the door. Luyan and I are just friends. Don't listen to their nonsense. Her friendship with Luyan couldn't be purer, and she really didn't understand why everyone always thought wrongly. However, after hearing this, Uruman only showed a meaningful smile. Yeah, we are friends then. When you and him went to the Starlight Night Market to play, why didn't you bring Zio Banley, Zio Huahua and the others? And I heard from someone in the know that you and him seemed to have known each other for a long time. What's going on? That's because they were not here in the afternoon. She was really speechless, and before in the past, she always felt that being questioned during the new year was something that would absolutely never happen to her. But she didn't expect that with the passage of time, what she once thought was impossible would actually become possible. Today's first update has been delivered smoothly. Thank you little angels for your support. 030. Chapter 1153, Reunion Dinner 2. Fortunately, the sudden arrival of the Z family couple put this interrogation on hold for the time being. Wen Jiu was relieved and continued to work in the kitchen. However, she still thought seriously about whether she had done something wrong, which led to everyone's misunderstanding. Well, it seems that there was nothing wrong. She felt that she was fine and couldn't be better. As the saying goes, if you encounter troubles, just sleep. Although she can't sleep now, she can temporarily forget about it. So she simply stopped thinking about these things and continued to prepare for the reunion dinner. As time passed, one delicious and exquisite dish after another was finally served on the table. Unlike last year's spring festival, this year's spring festival has more people and more abundant dishes. Wen Jiu specially made nearly 20 dishes, filling the round pear wood table. During the spring festival, of course, you have to eat to your heart's content. It doesn't matter if you can't finish these dishes. Anyway, it's your family who are eating. At most, you can save them for the next day. Wow, it turns out that Wen is such a good cook. These dishes are so tempting, just like they were made by a hotel chef. Wen Jiu looked up when she heard the voice and saw a well-maintained beautiful woman staring at her with a smile. The other party was Fang Xinyu, the mother of Ziqingyu. Just by looking at her face, you can tell that she is easy to get along with. So she smiled back and said, "It's just a casual one, as long as you like it, auntie." "Oh, you are a child who always talks in a pleasing way." Fang Xinyu smiled even more brightly. "Then auntie, I have to taste your cooking today." As soon as the voice fell, Ziyu snorted coldly. You said it, as if it was the first time you tasted it. It's not like you haven't eaten dishes made by Wen Jiu before." After hearing this, Ziqingyu couldn't help but give a thumbs up under the table with his hand. His brother is still his brother, but he is more outspoken than him. However, speaking out comes at a price. The next second, Ziyu was attacked by his father, Zuha, who pinched his thigh. Zuha pinched Ziyu's thigh without changing his expression. The child is still young and can't speak well. I hope everyone will forgive me. Come on, eat some food. Ziyu is on his way to 30 and is eloquent in the business world, but no one cares about him at the moment. He can only grit his teeth and endure the intense pain of being pinched on his thigh and pretend that nothing happened. He was just used to the days of quarreling with Wen Jiu and others when his parents were not around, and forgot to change this habit for a while. Who knew that his father would be so cruel? He felt that his flesh was blue, but he couldn't show anything and had to pretend that nothing happened and started eating. However, his hands holding the chopsticks were shaking, causing him to not pick up half a dish after a long time. He regretted it, and he would never commit suicide in front of his parents in the future. Just when he thought he couldn't eat a single bite of this delicious reunion dinner, someone actually gave him a warm welcome. "Here," Wen Jiu handed over the wrapped roast duck roll. "Just eat something to fill your stomach." She kindly wrapped a roast duck roll for him and handed it over to comfort him, because she saw that this young man in his 20s was about to burst into tears in front of everyone. Although she really wanted to see Ziyu shed tears, she still had to save his face. It was New Year's Day, and it wasn't good to cry. "Wen, I misunderstood you before." Ziyu couldn't help but raise his head, trying hard not to let the tears fall. "From now on, you are my good sister, and I will treat you as my own sister." He had just finished speaking when he was stepped on by someone, and the pain made his tears slide instantly, and his face was shattered on the spot. Seeing this, Zizu just coughed a few times in a very calm manner. Ahem. It's normal for a child to be unable to control his emotions. He was so happy during the new year that he couldn't help crying. "I hope everyone doesn't mind. Let's just eat the food." Ziziu suddenly felt that no matter how delicious the food was, he couldn't continue to sit here. It was okay for him to be pinched by his father a few times, but he was actually stepped on by Chu Jian. He is a cold-blooded president after all, can't he give him some face? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but frown and wanted to slam the table and leave. However, before he could take action, he heard his heartless brother ask, "Brother, do you still want to eat your roast duck roll? If you don't, I'll take it away." He put his butt back on the chair. "Eat." He picked up the roast duck roll angrily, swallowed it in one gulp without even looking at it, and showed a provocative look to Zikingayu. That is to say, the roast duck roll is less than half the size of his palm, otherwise he would not even have the opportunity to show off, and could only eat it in small bites. He originally wanted to chew and swallow it quickly, and then say a few words to Zikingayu, the stinky brother. But as he ate, the fire in his heart was extinguished. The flexible and thin spring pancakes were wrapped with small pieces of juicy cucumbers and finely chopped green onions. The duck meat, which was roasted to be fat but not greasy, was wrapped in these ingredients and danced in his mouth together. Layer after layer of aroma kept surging, and waves of taste came crazily. But the combination of these ingredients was not abrupt, but gave him a layered sense of comfort. The mellow and tender duck meat, the sweet and flexible spring pancakes, the crisp and refreshing cucumbers, and the fragrance of green onion shreds. He did chew and swallow the roast duck roll quickly, but he did not say anything to Zikingayu, but picked up the chopsticks and started to wrap a new roast duck roll. Is it important for Zikingayu to eat roast duck? No. So another flame ignited in Ziziu's heart. That is, he must eat this roast duck roll to his heart's content. Fortunately, Wen Jiu made nearly 20 dishes this time, so now, there is still 1/3 of the fruitwood roast duck left. Otherwise, the fire in Ziziu's heart would burn him again. Duck roasted in an oven is delicious. Hukiki also likes this fruitwood roast duck, because it is a duck roasted by him. Hearing this, Wen Jiu only took a small bite of the roast duck roll, that's for sure. Fortunately I customized this oven before, otherwise I can't eat such delicious roast duck. The duck meat burst out with a strong aroma on her tongue, not only the mellow and fresh fragrance of the duck meat itself, but also the light fruity aroma from the jujube roasting. The latter perfectly neutralizes the meaty smell of the former, so it makes people exclaim when eating it. The tender and fresh duck meat, dipped in a little salty and sweet sauce, is an ultimate enjoyment with every bite. Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Please check it out, little angels. Chapter 1154, Reunion Dinner 3. In addition to the fruitwood roast duck, Wen Jiu also spent a lot of effort to make many other dishes. Take the most time-consuming and laborious Buddha jumps over the wall for example. She spent a lot of effort just to find the ingredients. On the one hand, it was because she had only made Buddha jumps over the wall once, and it was a bit difficult to remember all the ingredients. Fortunately, her memory was still very good, and she finally remembered all the ingredients she needed. On the other hand, because some ingredients were renamed or no longer existed in this world, she spent a lot of effort to find them, and even consulted the illustrated book of edible animals and plants to replace some. Although the process was a bit difficult, the result was always good. I have heard of this dish before, but I have never had the opportunity to taste it. Zuhu looked at the stew in front of her and felt unbelievable for a while. It is said that there is a restaurant in the imperial capital Star that uses this dish as a signature dish, but the price is very high and most people cannot make a reservation. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but ask curiously, how high is very high? Although she knew that the prices in the imperial capital Star were high, she didn't know how high they were. Zuhua recalled it carefully before applying. It seems to be 1.88 million star coins, but I haven't been to that restaurant, so I don't know if this price is true. She was shocked by the price to the point of being speechless. 1.88 million star coins. Just for this one dish. May I ask if the average annual salary of the imperial capital Star starts at 100 million star coins? Regardless of whether this price is true or not, this is extremely outrageous. Even if the method of Buddha jumps over the wall is a bit complicated, and the ingredients used are relatively precious, it shouldn't be sold at this price, right? Wait, if she opened a restaurant in the imperial capital star that specializes in selling Buddha jumps over the wall, wouldn't she be the richest person in a few years? But if a dish of Buddha jumps over the wall costs 1.88 million star coins, how many star coins would it cost to rent or buy the store? She used to think she was a little rich, but now she thinks she is a poor ghost again. Fortunately, she didn't apply to the Imperial Capital Military Academy. With such terrible prices, how could she survive there? Countless thoughts were running wild in her mind at once. She hadn't had such a chaotic thought for a long time. Ahem. The ancient blue star delicacies handed down are rare, and delicacies like Buddha jumps over the wall are naturally expensive. Zizuhua saw the surprise on Wen Jiu's face and the panic of the others present, so he slowly explained to comfort him. Not every dish can be sold at this price, and the price is also linked to various costs. Hearing this, Zikingai on the side silently opened the lid of the stew pot. He was not a good businessman, so he didn't understand those cost economics. So he threw all the economic principles Zizuhua said behind his head, leaving only a sentence, that this Buddha jumps over the wall will sell for 1.88 million star coins. 1.88 million star coins. A little more is enough for him to buy a mecha. In other words, what he is eating now is not food, but the mecha that he regards as a treasure. Thinking of this, he decisively picked up the spoon and scooped some soup. The delicious soup only touched the tip of his tongue for a second, and it seemed to cover every inch of his tongue with a strong flavor. His mind, which was originally a little confused, suddenly became very clear at this moment. He scooped up the beef tendon soaked in the soup, which was soft like the jelly made by Wen Jiu, and was gently shaking in his spoon. The milky white tendon was stained with golden soup, and just looking at it made him feel hungry. So he took a bite with anticipation, and the soft and glutinous tendon overflowed with soup. Layer after layer of deliciousness was like waves, constantly beating his dormant taste buds. Although he had eaten countless delicacies made by Wen Jiu, he was still fascinated by this Buddha jumping over the wall. He wanted to stand up now, and then run around the table and shout, "How could there be such a delicious soup? How could there be such a soft and elastic tendon?" However, he had just fantasized for a moment when he was awakened by fangs in Ayu's palm. "Why are you only busy eating yourself? Why don't you pick some dishes for Shishi?" The other party glanced at him with a look of disappointment. Hearing this, he replied in confusion, "She has hands. Why should I pick dishes?" As soon as he finished speaking, he enjoyed the same treatment as Zizu. It's just that it was his mother who pinched him instead of his father, so the strength of his hand should be slightly lighter. Puff Zizu saw Zikingai's red face and knew that the other party had also experienced the pain of being pinched. However, in order not to experience it again, he still tried his best to hold back his laughter and just buried his head and started eating Buddha jumps over the wall. The dark yellow abalone is wrapped in thick soup, and it is full of the freshness of the ocean when you bite it. The meat is tender, refreshing and chewy, and the more he chews, the more he enjoys it. I don't know what's wrong with Wen Jiu's brain. He can actually think of so many ways to cook food. In fact, he didn't like seafood very much before, because he always felt that seafood had a lingering fishy smell, so every time someone gave him seafood as a gift, he would give it to other friends who like to eat seafood. But now it's different. He thinks that if someone gives him seafood in the future, he must bring it back and give it to Wen Jiu. As the saying goes, good things should not be given to outsiders. Although Wen Jiu does not recognize him as a brother, it does not affect him treating the other party as a sister. Thinking of this, he raised his eyes and glanced at Wen Jiu. But before he could see clearly, he was blocked by Chu Jian. The other party even deliberately brought a steamer over. "Zhao Jiu, if you don't eat this crab roe soup dumpling now, it will be cold, and it won't taste good later. You don't have to repeat what I said." Wen Jiu took the steamer speechlessly, and the steamer has an automatic keep warm function. It won't get cold if you don't take it down. She really didn't understand what was wrong with Zikingai. The crab roe soup dumpling was well in the steamer, but it was pulled in front of her by the other party, and he said something like it won't taste good if it gets cold, so eat it quickly. After saying that, Lao Chu who was sitting not far away, laughed and said, "Xiao Wen, it just so happens that I want to eat this crab bro soup dumpling. If you don't mind, pass it over and let me eat a few first." Although he has gradually become calmer as he ages, he can still see the swordplay between people as an old man. After all, Chu Jian is his grandson, and he will still help him out. Besides, the eldest son of the Z family is not very smart. Even his calligraphy was terrible this morning. So if Wen Jiu really wants to have a brother, it has to be his Chu Jian. Source. Today's third update has been successfully delivered. Thanks again to the little angels for their support. 030. Chapter 1155 Happy Spring Festival Time 1. After the reunion dinner, everyone was very happy. Even Ziziu, who was very aggrieved at first, fell under the attack of the dishes and forgot the unpleasantness at the beginning. Because the meal was made by Wen Jiu, Hu Kiki and Miss Tao, the cleaning work after the meal was handed over to others. Come on, the little ones. Come and get the red envelopes. Although Ruman wanted to help, she was still blocked. She had to take out the red envelopes she had prepared in advance and gave one to each of the juniors present. Thank you, Teacher Yu. Teacher Yu is such a great person. I wish Teacher Yu a happy spring festival, and I also wish Teacher Yu a successful career. Teacher Yu, you are the best. You are better than my mother. Kyo Shishi and Zikingai were the first to act. After receiving the red envelopes, they both said words of thanks. However, the former received praise from Ruman and received the admiring eyes of other elders. The latter was twisted by fangs in Ayu's ears and dragged to the corner to receive the storm education of love. Seeing this, Chu Jian, who was cleaning up the dishes, couldn't help but chuckle. He was already an adult citizen of the Federation, so he knew that this kind of red envelope distribution link no longer belonged to him. So he just continued to clean up the dishes. Who knew that he had just lowered his head to be busy when he saw Ruman handing him a red envelope. Here, this is yours. The other party took the red envelope with a smile and handed it forward to signal him to take it. Happy Spring Festival, Xiao Chu. You must study and train well in the future when you go to the military academy and try to be a good example for your brothers and sisters. Hearing this, he was stunned for a moment and then took the red envelope. He really didn't expect that he would also get a share of the red envelope, so his mouth, which was always eloquent, was stuck at this time. Fortunately, seeing that he was confused, old Chu helped him say a few polite words. Otherwise, he really didn't know how to thank Ruman for a while. The main reason was that he had been wandering outside for the past few years and hadn't celebrated the spring festival for a long time. Although he has been cleared of all charges and can live a normal life now, many things have changed dramatically. For example, receiving red envelopes during the spring festival. Before he got into trouble, he was also a child looking forward to red envelopes, not much different from Zikingai and Kyo Shishi. Unfortunately, time waits for no one, and his youth disappeared bit by bit in the endless escape. Now he is an adult citizen. Even though he has only been an adult for less than a year, he can no longer be a carefree and spoiled child like Zikingai. Of course, he knows that some people can still be children after they become adults. But he can't. He has experienced too many hardships and can't go back to his innocent years. So when Ruman handed him the red envelope, he suddenly felt a trance. It turned out that he was still the same as Wen Jiu and others in front of these elders. It turned out that he didn't have to force himself to look mature, and he could also be a child receiving red envelopes during the spring festival. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but feel warm in his heart. What are you thinking about? Seeing that Chu Jian was still in a state of confusion, Ziziu raised his hand and gently patted him. Are you not happy with the red envelope? If you are not happy, why not give it to me? After the voice fell, Fang Xinyu, who had just taught Zikingai, said helplessly, do your father and you two brothers a red envelope? How come one of you can't speak when he opens his mouth, and the other one is still thinking about other people's children? Child? He is only 5, 6, 7, or 8 years younger than me, okay? Ziziu couldn't help but reply stubbornly. Chu Jian frowned when he heard this. Just when he was struggling to decide whether to return the red envelope and be obedient to confirm his identity as an adult citizen, he suddenly saw Wen Jiu coming with a fat fox in his arms. Without asking, he knew that the other party was holding a fox. Even if he is only 1 year younger than you, he is still younger, so he is definitely a kid compared to you, Wen Jiu said, while stroking Fox Baba's fur. Uncle Z, instead of continuing to be stubborn here, you might as well give out the red envelopes first, but don't forget to give one to little Chew. After he finished speaking, Ziziu was so angry that he took a few deep breaths. Who are you calling uncle? Who is your uncle? I'm not even 30, okay. Yeah. When Jiu nodded perfunctorily, then brother Z, can you give out the red envelopes quickly? As she spoke, she hugged Fox Baba tightly. Although Zishan district had a protective shield to keep out the cold, she still felt very cold. So she discovered the wonderful use of the two little foxes, which was to hold them in her arms as large hand warmers. Hearing this, Chu Jiayan's previously somewhat uneasy mood finally relaxed. Since when Jiu said so, it's not impossible for him to be a kid during this spring festival. So he accepted the red envelopes with peace of mind. Afterwards, the Z couple and old Chu gave New Year red envelopes to the younger generation. Even Zhu Wangming gave a New Year red envelope to Wen Jiu and other children to express his New Year's greetings. Since even Zhu Wangming had given a red envelope, Fen Yixiu could no longer refuse. However, he did not prepare the red envelopes in advance, so he simply created a red envelope group on the Star Network, and Wen Jiu and others could grab as many as they could. Damn. How come I only grabbed 8 star coins? Great. I grabbed 2,600 star coins. It's just so. Just over 3,000 star coins. Hey, why do I suddenly not recognize numbers? Is there any kind person who can help me check? Oh, it turns out that I grabbed 4,800 star coins except for Wen Jiu, who was still warming his hands with a fox battler. Everyone else made voices of grievance or joy. Seeing this, Wen Jiu slowly opened the red envelope group. The next second, a prompt popped up on her light screen panel. Congratulations on successfully grabbing 9,089 star coins. Wow, Jiu is the lucky one. Kaioshishi couldn't help but smile happily. Sure enough, Jiu is the best. Hearing this, Zikingayu, who was sitting next to her, couldn't help but say sourly, Sister Jiu has grabbed so many star coins, she should at least treat us to a meal. Also, why are you all getting thousands of star coins, and only I have single digits? I even took a bath and burned incense today, just to grab more red envelopes in the group at night. Zikingayu is the one with the most extensive social connections among the children present. Therefore, he has quite a few friend groups where he can compete for red envelopes. However, he used to just have fun, but now he attaches great importance to this link. In Wen Jiu's words, a star coin is still a star coin. A little bit adds up to a lot. Don't you understand? Bu today's first update has been delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. Chapter 1156 Happy Spring Festival Time 2. Because there is a robot Dabe in the housekeeper left by Mr. Mew in the villa. So after Chu Jiayan and others cleaned up the table, they handed the rest of the work to the two robots. Of course, you have to watch the Spring Festival Gala during the Spring Festival. Although according to Kaioshishi, there is nothing to watch this year's Spring Festival Gala, the ceremony is indispensable. So after Wen Jiu turned up the light curtain panel and played the Spring Festival Gala, everyone listened to the Spring Festival Gala as background music while doing their own things. The elders gathered together, and naturally they couldn't do without playing mahjong. But Wen Jiu didn't have mahjong at home, so the elders turned on the light curtain panel and played electronic mahjong excitedly. And Zikingayu, Chu Jiayan and Ziziu, they made a holographic game again, and the three of them had a lot of fun playing beside them. As for Kaioshishi and Stephanie, they are the only two people who watch the Spring Festival Gala seriously. Mainly because Zuan Rudy will be in the Federal Spring Festival Gala this year. Kaioshishi pulled Stephanie, who had nothing to do, and Miss Tao and Tao Xiaotao, who were celebrating the Spring Festival for the first time, after leaving the factory, to sit in front of the light screen panel with snacks and watch carefully. Of course, Miss Tao and Tao Xiaotao could not eat snacks. They held milk tea in one hand and fried skewers in the other hand, mainly to cater to the atmosphere. See. The camera swept over. Dee, my Dee. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help rubbing his ears. She was busy replying to messages at the moment, so she didn't accompany Kyoshi to watch the Spring Festival Gala. Hu Kiki and Hu Baba were busy all day and were too tired to maintain their human form. They found an opportunity to change back to their original form and lie down beside her to doze off. For this reason, her friend specially explained to Zizuha and others, for fear of causing unnecessary misunderstandings. Of course, they just introduced that this was her little pet. After all, Zizuha and Leochu are ordinary people, and it is difficult for them to accept the fact that monsters exist. Besides, they are still celebrating the Spring Festival today, so we can't let this good day get awkward. Bakalulu, Happy New Year, Sister Fake. I wish you a prosperous new year. Please check your new red envelope. Seeing this, Wen Jiu first replied with a few auspicious words, and then accepted the red envelope from Lulu. As the saying goes, courtesy should be reciprocated, and she and Lulu are just working people, so she quickly returned a red envelope to the other party. Bakalulu, thank you for the big red envelope, Sister Fake. Crying cat head. Bakalulu, by the way, Sister Fake, if you have time, remember to go to Zingbo for business. There is also a fan group of Bika, where you can interact with money fans. In fact, even if Lulu didn't remind her, she would go to Zingbo for business. After all, she had received a lot of help from the money fans some time ago, so she naturally had to post a Zingbo to celebrate during the Chinese New Year. So she immediately clicked on Zingbo and edited it carefully for a while. Gongzi Fake, I wish all the money fans a happy new year, everything goes well and auspicious. Thank you all for your company during this period. I will continue to work hard in the new year to bring you more delicious food. Retweet this Zingbo and you can participate in the lucky draw. Prizes include, during the Chinese New Year, you have to organize some activities to give back to the money fans. If these money fans didn't support her, she wouldn't be able to become the new #1 in the Bika food area in just 2 years. Not to mention that, after cooperating with Wuiyao Food, she always sells products that far exceed expectations. It's true that her cooking ability is very strong, but the support of money fans is also very important. So she thanked these lovely money fans from the bottom of her heart. The man like the wind, I finally got a front row seat. Happy New Year to Sister Fake. By the way, can you come to the fan group and interact with us? Rocky has sent countless red envelopes in the group, but he still hasn't gotten you out. He's going crazy now. I'm so hungry. Sister Fake really showed up during the Chinese New Year. Let me get some of Sister Fake's fortune. I hope I can make a fortune in the new year. Little Bear Puff, Puff Puff. Sister Fake. Sister Fake. Come to the fan group and interact with us. Rocky is going crazy. Seeing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but curiously click on the Bika Live broadcast and quickly found her fan exchange group. Although she doesn't usually speak in the fan group, she still sneaks a peek when she has time. It seems to have been more than 2 months since she last spoke in the group, so it's no wonder Rocky went crazy because he wanted her to appear. Gongzi Fake, I heard that someone missed me so much that they went crazy. Is that true? Glacier, oh shit. It's actually a living Fake sister. Big brother monkey, there's no such thing as a dead Fake sister. Can you say something auspicious on New Year's Day? Rocky wants to eat all over the galaxy. I'm sorry, Fake sister, I kept it a secret from you for so long. Actually, I'm not a human. I'm just a kind of shell on the seashore. My name is Vosnida Bergshell. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Fake sister, Fake sister, Fake sister. Hurry up and punish Rocky. Wen Jiu was just about to ask Rocky what happened when he received a long string of messages. Rocky wants to eat all over the stars. I'm in good spirits. I'm very energetic. 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 Very crazy. Completely crazy. Completely crazy. Completely crazy. Rocky wants to eat all over the stars. You ask me how I spent the spring festival without my fortune? I skipped it. I missed it. I borrowed it. I was sad. I endured it. I muddled along. I smiled and passed by. I missed it in person. I closed the door and reflected on my mistakes. I'm a big man and don't remember the mistakes of a small man. When she saw her chat interface being spammed, she didn't know what to say for a while. So she first sent a big red envelope in a group and said that she would broadcast once during the spring festival, and then clicked on the private chat interface with Rocky. Because she got to know Min Yehan, it was thanks to Rocky, the matchmaker. So she was still quite concerned about Rocky's mental state. Congratulations on getting rich, Rocky. Are you okay? Why did you suddenly become like this? Have you considered going to the hospital? Rocky wants to eat all over the galaxy. Sister Fakay, your surfing on the internet seems to be different from mine. Wen was busy every day and rarely looked at the star blog for a long time. She really didn't understand what Rocky said. She really thought that there was something seriously wrong with his mental state. After the explanation of the enthusiastic citizen Kyoshi, she realized that Rocky's madness was just a recent trend on the star blog. So she didn't dwell on this issue anymore. After sending a red envelope to Rocky and saying Happy Chinese New Year, she continued to reply to the messages from the money-loving people. In addition, she also sent New Year greetings to other friends. For example, Ming Yehan and Ming Yu, who were far away in the Imperial capital star, Luo Yi, who was busy attending the royal dinner, and Huo Xianan, who was tired of playing with gems on Milestar. Of course, she didn't forget the monsters on the desolate star. She also sent messages using the communicator. Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Thank you to every little angel for your support and love. 030. Chapter 1157 Happy Spring Festival Time 3. After the Spring Festival Gala, everyone went back to their rooms to rest. Because it was too late, and there were many empty rooms in the villa anyway, Leo Chu and the Z couple stayed. However, the Z couple left with Ziziu before dawn. It was said that they had to rush to reach the Imperial capital star before the end of the Spring Festival holiday. Although Zikingai was very sad about this, he didn't say anything after all, and only posted a message on the Star Network saying safe journey. Alas, to reach the Imperial capital star within 7 days, you have to drill a wormhole to achieve it. He lay on the table with great worry, and he didn't even have the mood to eat breakfast. I hate the fairy family of the Imperial capital star even more now. Why do they have to let my parents go back during the spring festival? They were the ones who forced my parents to leave the fairy family back then, and now they are asking my parents to go back. They are a bunch of psychopaths. The main reason is that drilling a wormhole is completely different from entering a space jump point. The former is much more dangerous than the latter. If you are not careful, the spacecraft will crash and everyone will die. So he rarely had an appetite for food, and he just lay on the table with a depressed look and muttered. He wanted to stop his family, but the point was that it was useless, even if he stopped them. Don't worry, didn't Uncle Z tell you? They bought Noah's tickets. The success rate of Noah's spacecraft drilling wormholes has increased to 74%. This probability is quite high. Kyoshi could understand Zikingayu's feelings, so she only comforted him in a gentle voice and rarely said anything to him. After he finished speaking, Zhu Wanming, who was watching the news on the side, also echoed, yes, the interstellar spacecraft produced by Noah Company are still good, and the interstellar spacecraft services they operate themselves are also very good. Whether it is a safety factor or other aspects, it is much better than other interstellar spacecraft companies. And this fast route to the Imperial capital star has been running for nearly 10 years. It is a very stable wormhole channel. So don't think too much, your family will definitely arrive safely. After hearing this, Zikingai's nervous mood relaxed a little. But he still had no appetite, just sitting at the table with a spoon in his hand in a daze. Seeing this, Chu Jian said slowly, I'm going to visit some relatives with my grandfather later. Zio Banli, do you want to go with me? If the rest of you want to go, you can go together. He mainly saw that Zikingai looked so listless and pitiful, so he wanted to find something to distract her temporarily. I won't. Before Zikingayu could finish her refusal, she was interrupted by Kyoshi. Go. Zio Bangli and I will go together. When will we leave? Kyoshi just smiled and agreed. She could hear Chujayan's thoughts and understood that Zikingayu was not in a good state now. So even if Zikingayu didn't want to go, she would take her out for a walk. Seeing this, Zikingayu had to take a deep breath and nodded to show that she was willing. He knew that, whether it was Chujayan or Kyoshi, or Zhu Wangming who had patiently comforted him for a long time, they were all doing it for his own good. Therefore, although he didn't want to go out for a stroll at this time, he still agreed to Chujayan's proposal. So after waiting for others to have breakfast, he followed Chujayan to visit relatives. Kyoshi naturally went with him. After all, the other party took the initiative to agree to this matter. Wen Jiu stayed at home with Stephanie, not because the two of them didn't care about his emotions, but because they had to accompany the fragile Yuruman. Oh, I can go alone. I really don't need you to accompany me. Although Yuruman had been sick for more than half a year, she had not had much contact with outsiders during this period, and her work was almost gone, but she still had to maintain her interpersonal relationships at this time. Therefore, she bought gifts a few days ago and only waited until the spring festival holiday to meet friends and colleagues. Who knew that Zhu Wangming actually told this matter, and the other party also reached an agreement with Wen Jiu in this regard. That is, she was not allowed to go out for a stroll alone, and she had to be accompanied by them. After he finished speaking, Wen Jiu said in a rare serious tone, "No, Teacher Yu, your body has not fully recovered yet. If anything happens to you, I will cry to death." Really not. She smiled helplessly. I'm so old, how can I not know my physical condition? She had just finished speaking when Zhu Wangming whispered, "You are so old, and you still walk barefoot on the floor every day. If I hadn't been watching you, you would have caught a cold and coughed and scared Wen Jiu to death." When she heard what the other party said, she immediately threw him a look. However, Zhu Wangming's voice was still heard by Wen Jiu. "Teacher Yu, you clearly know that your physical condition is poor now. How can you walk around barefoot at home? I will buy you some warm socks later. If you don't like wearing slippers, just wear socks." Oh, forget it. She is already over 30 years old, and she is still being lectured by a little girl. She is embarrassed to mention such things. "Then you can go out with me, but let's make it clear first, you can't interfere with my words and actions." Hearing this, Wen Jiu immediately smiled and nodded, then changed into clothes for going out, and dragged Stephanie, who was trying to stay at home and cause trouble. At first, she was still wondering what Yuruman was going to do, and how it was related to interfering with words and actions. Could it be that the other party was actually going to fight an enemy? It was not until she followed Yuruman to visit several people that she realized that the other party was actually paving the way for her future. Because she had caused too much trouble in the 3rd military region, and because her current abilities are too outstanding, Yuruman was very worried that something similar to the tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind would happen. For this reason, the other party specially contacted 7 or 8 friends. Among them are not only soldiers who work in the military region, but also officials who have made achievements in the political arena. Yuruman contacted the former, mainly to help her stabilize her abilities in all aspects. After all, what she had learned in the nursery base before was a bit premature. She couldn't continue to follow that set of things, otherwise there would definitely be big problems in the future. Yuruman contacted the latter to hide her key information, to prevent her from being suddenly involved in inexplicable danger again. You know, there are still remnants in the 3rd and 5th military regions. These people are like poisonous snakes hidden in the dark. No one knows whether they will suddenly appear and bite people. Source. Today's 3rd update has also been successfully delivered thanks again to the lovely little angels 030. Chapter 1158 Happy Spring Festival 4. After Wen Jiu followed Yuruman to visit the demons, he went to the shelter to visit the demons, and also visited Grandma Zhao and Wang Nan. Because those poor stray animals had a place to stay, and the salary offered by Wen Jiu was quite generous, Grandma Zhao's condition was getting better day by day. So Grandma Zhao not only rejected Wen Jiu's gift, but also gave Wen Jiu a big New Year red envelope. In fact, Wen Jiu didn't want to accept the red envelope. After all, Grandma Zhao had been very caring for her in the past. But when the other party saw that she refused to accept it, she was like a child and got angry on the spot. So she had to accept the red envelope and handed the gift she brought to Wang Nan. There was no way Grandma Zhao refused to accept the gift anyway, so she could only trouble Wang Nan to accept it on her behalf. Then, under the leadership of Yu Rumen, she went to meet several teachers from the 3047 Academy. In addition to Li Qinzhen, Sun ran into An Qiumei, who she was familiar with. There were also several new teachers who had just retired from the military region. After meeting these people, it was already evening. Since she and Yu Rumen and others did not want to continue strolling outside, they took the hovercraft to go home to rest. Xiao Wen, what is your impression of the teachers just now? Hearing this, Wen Jiu, who was resting with his eyes closed, immediately replied, I think they are not bad. Teacher Chen and Teacher Zhang seem to be easy to get along with. Well, Xiao Chen and Xiao Zhang just retired from the military region. They are both excellent medical soldiers and have passed the examination of the Education Bureau. Yu Rumen was relieved when she heard this answer. If you are given a chance, would you be willing to learn more from them? The quota for new teachers in 3047 Academy was full a few months ago, and the teachers she took Wen Jiu to see today were only in the academy in name only, without real jobs, and did not need to go to the academy to teach students. Among these people, the only one who is really responsible for teaching is Wen Jiu. The main reason is that she herself is an armed mecha soldier, and she cannot teach Wen Jiu who really wants to be a medical soldier. In addition to helping the other party improve their fighting skills, she still needs the help of other teachers. So she first contacted several soldiers who were still in the military area, hoping that they could teach Wen Jiu more practical experience. Later, she took advantage of her position and found these retired teachers who wanted to teach in the military academy. Teaching one person is teaching, and teaching countless people is also teaching. Although Wen Jiu's current ability level is high and his strength in all aspects is pretty good, his foundation is really not very stable. Therefore, she specially selected these teachers. While helping Wen Jiu lay a solid foundation, she can also teach him the introductory knowledge of medical soldiers. Of course I'm willing. But Teacher Yu, are you going to ignore me in the future? Why are you so anxious to throw me to others? Wen Jiu was just joking, and she didn't really think so. She was still very grateful to Yu Rumen for everything she did. You know, she and the other party really have no blood relationship. So Yu Rumen can be so open-hearted, which means that the other party really treats her as his own daughter. In this case, she will never let Yu Rumen down. When she has dealt with the matter of the Desolate Star, she will return to normal life and study hard. Hearing this, Yu Rumen couldn't help but smile and turned around, reaching out to pinch Wen Jiu's nose lightly. You, how can I bear to leave you to others? I will accompany you to class when the time comes. She already regarded Wen Jiu as half her own daughter, which means that she would never abandon her. Alas, if she could meet Wen Jiu earlier, then she wouldn't have to suffer so much, and she wouldn't have to support herself like now. Don't think that Wen Jiu is happy every day like nothing happened. In fact, she has to worry about various things from morning to night. Whether it is making money, studying, or problems between friends, Wen Jiu is busy all over. You have to know that those children of the same age as him may not even be able to figure out the prices of firewood, rice, oil and salt, let alone handle everything in an orderly manner. So she often sighed in her heart that, if she had met Wen Jiu earlier, maybe she could have made him live a carefree life. Why does the big sister only accompany little Jiu to class, but not a little cutie like me? When Yu Rumen and Wen Jiu were joking with each other, Stephanie, who was sitting next to them, asked this question. After that, Zhu Wangming, who was in charge of driving, couldn't help but say aggrievedly, you are so unfair. Teacher Yu and I are about the same age. Why do you call her big sister and call me Uncle Zhu? Maybe it's because you look like an uncle? Stephanie was successfully diverted. As soon as this was said, Wen Jiu and Yu Rumen laughed out loud. Nini, I find that you are really interesting when you talk. You Ruman laughed so hard that tears almost came out. You look like an uncle. Ha 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 ha. To be fair, Zhu Wangming's appearance is actually above average. Because he has a gentle and elegant temperament, when he is serious, his appearance is still very good among the male group. I just don't know why. Every time he is with Wen Jiu, his natural temperament will disappear inexplicably. In addition, he has been busy with various things some time ago, which has caused his appearance to not recover until now. So it's no wonder that Stephanie and others have always called him Uncle Zhu. The four of them chatted in the hovercraft and returned to Wen Jiu's villa smoothly. It happened that Chu Jian and his group came back from visiting relatives, so they gathered on the first floor for dinner before they buried their heads in doing their own things. Oh, Zhao Bangli has been hungry all day, and he can't wait to get a bucket to eat. When Wen Jiu saw Ziqinggai eating 4 bowls of dinner in one breath, he knew that the always happy other party was finally back. After saying this, Ziqinggai touched his round belly and replied, man is iron and rice is steel. If you skip a meal you will be very hungry. I didn't have breakfast or lunch today, so I have to make up for it at dinner. He was thinking about his family all day, so he didn't have much appetite to eat. It was before he came back that he received Zizi's message, and his nervous mood relaxed a little, and then he regained his appetite to eat. Yes, eat if you want to, don't starve yourself. Wen Jiu was still very happy to see the happy version of Ziqinggai. By the way, I'm going to the Star Network world later. Do you guys want to go with me? In order to avoid the misunderstanding last time, she decided to inform these friends every time before going to the Star Network world. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1159. Your brother Sun is here. 1. Since Kaioshishi and the others had nothing to do tonight, they accompanied Wen Jiu into the Star Network world. It just so happened that other places in the Star Network world also held activities to celebrate the Spring Festival. So they decided to wait for Wen Jiu to finish setting up a stall, and then go to other markets to participate in Spring Festival activities. Well, this is the first time I see my little grandson setting up a stall. Stephanie had never seen Wen Jiu setting up a stall, and she didn't know that he was also good at fortune telling, so she was the most excited one among the people who followed. Hearing this, Ziqinggai couldn't help but raise her head proudly. So you will be Feng Leo Wu. I haven't seen this and that. My brother Wen has many skills. When they were bored before, they ranked in order of size. But Ziqinggai didn't want to be the 5th anyway, so it was impossible to rank by age. So after thinking about it, they decided to rank by the order of meeting Wen Jiu, so that Ziqinggai wouldn't have to be the last 5th. It's my brother Sun, little chestnut. If you keep talking nonsense, be careful or I'll use your tongue as a toy. Stephanie changed her image as she spoke. The originally charming and seductive woman turned into a young man in the blink of an eye. She didn't want to argue with Ziqinggai. She wanted to help Wen Jiu set up the stall, because she knew that Wen Jiu didn't like to argue. The other party only liked to take action to get things done. In simple terms, if you can solve it with your fists, try not to use your mouth. Brother Sun, let me help you. She took the chair with a smile and then put it neatly aside. Seeing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but frown and said, although I know you want to help, the chairs are not placed like that. You just put one here and then put the other 2 over there. In fact, she just moved the tables and chairs a little, hung the simple sign she wrote outside, and finally took out the fortune telling things. She didn't really need her friends to help, but Stephanie was so enthusiastic, she didn't want to hit her. It's okay, she can bear it. Anyway, she is a super ninja. But she had just put the things in place when many customers surrounded her. However, the customers who came this time were obviously much more sensible. After confirming that she was Sun Badao herself, they lined up in front of her stall at lightning speed. When she sat down at the table, she looked up and saw a neat long line, which made her feel refreshed just by looking at it. Fortune telling, divination, drawing talismans and writing. The price is fair. Welcome to ask the price. Although there were already customers queuing up, she still had to shout. Then, when Jiu picked up the paper fan and waved it, "You, come up." As soon as she finished speaking, the first customer in line came forward and sat in front of her respectfully. "Master Sun, Happy New Year." The other party smiled nervously. "I want to calculate my fortune this year." Hearing this, she only glanced at it lightly and replied, "Don't worry, you have a deep philtrum and a rich children's palace. You will definitely get pregnant this year. But you should drink less of those unconventional soups and medicines. Some unclear herbs mixed. It will affect the development of the fetus in the future." Although the woman only said that she wanted to calculate her fortune, she still saw what she wanted at a glance. "Really?" The woman couldn't help but slap the table excitedly. "Then Master Sun, do you have a talisman to protect the fetus or to ensure that you will get pregnant? I want to take one back." She saw that the woman not only wore a pendant for praying for children, but also used "please" instead of "by" when talking about talismans, so she knew that she must be a person who believes in metaphysics. But the problem is that she saw from the child's palace that the woman already had 3 daughters. She already has 3 daughters and still wants to have a child. It goes without saying what kind of child it will be. So she shook her head calmly. Children are also fate. You can't force it. In fact, when it comes to talismans, to increase the pregnancy rate, she still knows 1 or 2, but she doesn't want to sell them to the other party. As for why she knows this kind of talisman, who made her blow up the furnace in the sect before? As a result, when her senior brothers and sisters were refining pills, she could only stay in the library and read quietly. Although it was really boring, she still learned a lot of things by herself. For example, the insect repellent and mosquito repellent talisman she used to sell before. This was something her master never taught her, and she learned it by herself when reading miscellaneous books. Okay, the woman couldn't help but sighed in disappointment. "Then Master Sun, can you help me calculate whether this child is a boy or a girl?" Wen Jiu still maintained a decent smile, but his eyes were cold. "Please, it's the interstellar age now. Can you put aside the preference for boys over girls? Sorry, this is beyond my ability." She deliberately made an apologetic look. Seeing her like this, the other party knew that it was not good to ask about children, so he asked her to tell his fortune and left. Of course, the star coins were still given, and she was not here to do charity. Then she received 7 or 8 more customers. Some wanted to tell fortunes, and some wanted to buy talismans. Based on the principle of not bearing too many causes and effects, she finally sold only one disease eliminating and health talisman. Alas, she almost lost her voice in selling talismans, but she didn't expect that she would not be willing to sell talismans to others now. It's really a matter of time, and things are unpredictable. "Master Sun, do you still remember me?" Wen Jiu had just burned the bad fortune drawn by the previous customer when he heard a very familiar deep male voice. Looking up, I saw a gold tooth shining under the light. Well, there's no need to look anymore. This is her old customer Zenfu. Of course I remember. She smiled politely. Big ears, thick eyes. Mr. Zen's career has been developing very well recently, right? After the words fell, the other party laughed so hard that he couldn't even close his mouth. Thanks to your care, Master Sun, I can get to where I'm today. In fact, Zenfu's own ability is quite good, but there was a villain who made trouble before. If there were no villains, it would be a matter of time for him to get rich. It's a pity that there is no if. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Wen Jiu waved his fan happily. What is the reason for Mr. Zen to come here today? Do you want to ask for another fortune-making talisman, or do you want to tell your son's fortune? She had just finished speaking when Zenfu handed over a pen of star coins, calling it a Spring Festival red envelope, because she would turn on the anti-peep mode in advance every time she set up a stall. She directly clicked on the light screen panel and took a look at the star coins that the other party handed over. It was clearly shown on it that she received 6,666,666 star coins. Wow, she thought she had misheard, but she didn't expect to receive so many star coins. Today's second update was also successfully delivered. Thank you to every little angel for your support. 030. Chapter 1160. Your brother Sun is here too. Since Zenfu gave such a large amount of star coins, Wen Jiu couldn't just do nothing. Because everyone's fortune is limited, when she sold the fortune bringing charm to the other party, she had already helped to gather most of the fortune. If she asked for another one, it would only be counterproductive. So at Zenfu's request, she gave the other party a peach blossom charm and 2 disease eliminating health charms. In addition, she also helped Zenfu calculate the location of the new office building. The other party's business is getting bigger and bigger, and the original small office building is no longer enough, so he plans to build a new building after the new year. Thank you, Master Sun. I don't have anything else to tell you. I just want to thank you. If you hadn't helped me, I would have been sent to an uninhabited planet to do hard labor to pay off my debts because I owed too much money. Hearing this, Wen Jiu just smiled calmly and said, "It's fate that we met. There's no need to be so polite. I wish you a prosperous new year and hope your baby son can find his true love soon." In fact, there are many old customers who come to her. In addition to Zenfu, who has the highest presence, Fang Jingjing, who met Ukiki at the beginning, and Fang Xiaoa who brought Fang Jingjing here, have come to her for fortune telling later. Now, there is another old customer. But this old customer is not as old as the previous example. Because he is Wen Jiu, who came to Wen Jiu some time ago, and he is also the poor man who has a very good fate, but lives a very bad life. Master Sun. Fortunately you are here today, otherwise I really don't know what to do. After hearing this, Wen Jiu first drank a sip of tea slowly, and then asked about Wen Jiu's situation. Since the other party came to her in such a panic, it means that what she said has come true. Sure enough, the first sentence Wen Jiu said was, "Master Sun, it seems that my friend really harmed me." Well, then, she asked calmly, "Do you want to get rid of him as soon as possible, tit for tat? Or do you want to pretend that nothing happened and just need my help to restore your fate?" After speaking, Wen Jiu was silent for a long time before replying, "It must be a lie to say that I don't want revenge. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have fallen into this situation now. But I always miss the friendship in the past, and I don't know how to solve this problem. Although he has been brainwashing himself, he shouldn't be too upset when he knows the result." But when he saw the talisman turned into ashes, he felt that his heart was burned out. He was a very loyal person. Even when he had just met that old friend, he would still be sincere to him. But he never thought that the man would actually hurt him. It's funny. I have been out of touch with him for many years, but he has been secretly inquiring about my situation. He couldn't help but sneer when he said this. That is to say, he knows how miserable I am, but he has never thought of giving me a handout for the sake of our past friendship. Although he knew that helping was a favor and not helping was his duty, he still found it hard to accept. Hearing this, Wen Jiu already had the answer in his heart. Do you want to let the past go with the wind and let go of the grudges? Mainly because she heard Wen Jiu say sad words after the truth was revealed, and he didn't even say a word about revenge, so she guessed that the other party didn't want revenge. Well, this kind of person is quite rare. You know, most people who are harmed by others will try every means to retaliate. Even if someone is unable to take revenge due to lack of ability, they will keep this grudge in their heart for the rest of their lives, and always hope that the enemy will get into trouble soon. Therefore, people like Wen Jiu who do not want to take revenge are really very rare, and can be protected as rare animals. Point I don't know. Wen Jiu lowered his head in a very entangled manner. If it is really him who made me become like this, then I still hope that he can pay the price, but I don't want to let the friendship in the past be broken just for revenge. Maybe it was because the years he spent in military school were the happiest time of his life. So he always missed those days and was unwilling to break the beauty of the past. Of course, the most important reason is that he is too soft-hearted. Therefore, he did not dare to tell his family about this, for fear that his hot-tempered wife would come to the door. Seeing this, Wen Jiu waved his fan with a look of understanding. Then it's up to you to decide on revenge. Anyway, I have no intention of interfering. Let's continue talking about you. If you want to get your fate back, you will not only have to pay a large sum of star coins, but you will also be in great danger. Why would I be in danger if I get my fate back? Nan Chae-kun was stunned when he heard this. He just wanted to get back his so-called rich and noble fate, and then live a happy life with his wife and children. As for revenge, he still needs to think about it. But how could he get back what belonged to him, and then he would be in danger? Wen Jiu smacked his lips in silence, because your original fate was taken away by your friend, so if you want to change it back, it will definitely attract his attention. At that time, in order to protect his own wealth and glory, he will naturally take action to solve your hidden danger. Why doesn't Nan Chae-kun understand such a simple truth? After all, he has lived for more than 30 years, so he shouldn't be half-hearted, right? Facts have proved that he really hasn't. After hearing this, Nan Chae-kun suddenly fell into a trance. He really didn't think about this level. He just wanted to get back his fate and lead his family to live a good life. As a result, Wen Jiu has now broken his beautiful fantasy, forcing him to face reality and make a choice. If he chooses to change his fate back, he will inevitably confront his old friend, which is equivalent to revenge. But if he doesn't change his fate back, then all his star coins will be wasted, and he will also face the dilemma of his family being broken up. So after hesitating for a long time, he slowly said, "Can I change my fate back, Master Sun?" Now that things have come to this, he has to face the reality. Even if he doesn't want to, he can't live in the happy times of the past forever. He has to work hard for his wife, children and himself. So he must take back all the things that belong to him. Hearing this, Wen Jiu nodded in agreement, then took out a piece of paper and wrote and drew on it. It is very difficult to change the fate, so the fee must be expensive. Today's third update has also been delivered smoothly. Thank you again to the little angels for their support. Chapter 1161 Your brother Sun is here 3. As the saying goes, go against the will of heaven to change your fate. If you want to change your fate, you have to go against the will of heaven. Even if Wen Jiu only helped Nan Chae-kun to change his fate, it would be a very risky and difficult thing. This star coin, at least 8 digits, at most 9 digits. She explained the fee seriously. I know you don't have money now, so if you have thought it through, write me an IOU. When you earn star coins in the future, you must pay me back as soon as possible. She was not using this matter to cheat Nan Chae-kun of star coins, but she had to pay a huge price to help him. After all, going against the will of heaven always means carrying the cause and effect. If she wanted to eliminate the negative cause and effect, she had to do good deeds and accumulate virtue. The simplest way to do good deeds and accumulate virtue is to donate money to help others. This time, she had to collect at least 8 digits of star coins and then donate most of them to charity. So in fact, she still didn't make much. 9 digits? Nan Chae-kun widened his eyes in disbelief. Even if he was sold, he couldn't even get 9 figures. This price was really sky high. Even if it didn't take 9 figures, only 8 figures would be unaffordable for him. Although Sun Badao offered him the privilege of writing an IOU and paying back the star coins later, he still didn't dare to accept it. You know, he was already so poor that he couldn't be any poorer. If he really got back his rich life and became a millionaire as the other party said, then paying back the star coins wouldn't be a problem. But what if he didn't? If he failed to change his fate, or if he didn't become a millionaire, wouldn't the huge debt he owed crush his whole family? Thinking of this, he felt confused and didn't know what to do. Seeing this, Wen Jiu didn't urge him, but added in a gentle voice, you can go back and think about it carefully. Send me a message within a week if you have made up your mind. No more. After all, this kind of thing can't be forced. Even if she and Nan Chae-kun have some fate, she can't help him make a decision. After she finished speaking, Nan Chae-kun stood up, bowed, and then left in a daze. She had no intention of retaining him and just continued to entertain the next customer. Fate can be deep or shallow. It can be determined by heaven or man. She was willing to help Nan Chae-kun because they were destined to be together. But if the other party was unwilling to follow fate, she would not be stubborn. In short, everything was Nunchaokun's choice, and she had no right to interfere, and was too lazy to interfere. There were still many customers who came to find Sun bad AO. Considering that she had to go to other markets to play next, when Jiu announced the closing of the stall, after receiving 7 or 8 customers. She originally wanted to call Lu Yan and Mingyu, so that it would be more lively with more people. It was a pity that Lu Yan was not online today, and Mingyu was busy visiting relatives and friends, so she had to give up the idea. How about we call the little prince and the little volcano out to play? They are quite interesting. After learning about Wen Jiu's idea, Zikingai made a suggestion, after thinking for a while. In fact, he has a good relationship with Luo Yi and Huo Xianian. After all, when the 8th military region searched Brickstar, the 3 of them played various games on the spacecraft every day. After a while, they can be regarded as good friends with similar interests. Of course, only when playing games. Hearing this, Kaioshishi, who was eating roasted corn while walking, agreed. I think this suggestion is good. It's been a long time since we last saw the little prince and the little volcano. She also has a Luo Yi and Huo Xianian Star Network account, but she is not particularly interested in playing games, so she has relatively less communication with the two. However, she has a good impression of Luo Yi and Huo Xianian, so she is still willing to eat, drink and have fun with them. And during the festival, the more people there are, the more lively it is. Since Zikingai and Kaioshishi said so, Wen Jiu couldn't say anything to refuse. Besides, she had a good impression of Luo Yi and Huo Xianian, so she didn't mind playing with them. So she first clicked on the light screen panel to check the online status of Luo Yi and Huo Xianian, and then sent a message to ask. Coincidentally, Luo Yi and Huo Xianian didn't go to the banquet today, and they had agreed to come to the Star Network world to play early in the morning. Therefore, the message sent by Wen Jiu can be said to be just in time. TSK, what are you thinking? You actually use such an image. Huo Xianian just teleported to the target location and saw Wen Jiu and his group standing stupidly. This is not the point. The point is that they look exactly the same, only the clothes and the goods on their heads are different in color. After speaking, Zikingai just glanced at him arrogantly. You don't understand. We are good brothers. Point here. He couldn't help but sneer. But it's good for you to be like this. It can set off my handsomeness. His image was specially molded by someone, which is completely different from the stupid looks of Zikingai and others. The mechanical shell with red as the main color, combined with his handsome image, is a robot-like existence, but not a robot. Whenever he plays in the Star Network world, he can attract a group of boys and girls to look back. There is no way I'm too handsome and loved by everyone. Whether in the real world or the Star Network world, he is the handsome guy who is so handsome that he will be struck by thunder. Just when he was waiting for Luo Yi to dislike Wen Jiu and others together, the other party calmly evaluated these images. The next second, he saw Wen Jiu asked confidently, do you want to join us? It just so happens that the good brothers are still short of 2. Hearing this, he decisively refused. Unless I'm crazy, I will never join you. Facts have proved that sometimes people still can't say too much. Little volcano, you and Pink are really a good match, Zikingai commented with a smile. Okay, you will be the big baby in the future. Huo Xianian, who was forced to become a good baby, clenched his fists silently after hearing this. He never thought that Luo Yi would be a traitor. Not only did he agree to Wen Jiu's proposal, but he also changed into the image of Calabash brothers. As the saying goes, the minority obeys the majority. Even if he was unwilling in his heart, he could only join the Calabash brothers army. There was no other way, because besides Wen Jiu, there were also Chu Jian and Stephanie. Whether it was intelligence or force, he was suppressed. Although he would not really get hurt in a fight in the Star Network world, the problem was that he would lose face after losing. So, it would be embarrassing anyway. Rather than being beaten and humiliated, he would rather choose painless humiliation. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support and love. Chapter 1162 Looking to the Future 1. Wen Jiu and his group dressed up as Calabash Brothers and first participated in the mushroom market, and then played around in Lake Park. Because today is the second day of the Spring Festival holiday, many people are playing in the Star Network world. Various strange costumes emerge one after another. Some dress up as robots, some dress up as interstellar beasts, and even dress up as orcs. In such an environment, Wen Jiu and others seemed quite normal. After a group of people had a good time, they found a place to stay, chat and eat something. However, the place they went to was booked by Luo early in the morning. It is said that it is one of the top 10 restaurants in the Star Network world, and it is difficult for ordinary people to reserve a seat. How did my Calabash Brothers suit become a tuxedo? How did the fried strawberry in my hand become a red wine glass? Zikingayu joked as soon as she entered the private room. Hearing this, Huo Xianan couldn't help but burst out laughing. Okay, there are orcs next door. It doesn't matter what we do, as long as we are comfortable. When he heard what Zikingayu said, he knew that the other party was referring to the restaurant being too high-end, which made them look out of place. Although he used to dislike the Calabash Brothers look, now that he has joined the Calabash Brothers army, he must maintain his Calabash Brothers dignity. Did anyone stipulate that Calabash Brothers cannot enter high-end restaurants? No. So he must maintain the Calabash Brothers look and eat in this high-end restaurant. So he didn't bother about it anymore, and found a seat to sit down. Seeing this, Luo invited Wen Jiu and his group to take a seat. I ordered a few special dishes before I came, all of which have good reputations and taste good. But you can still take a look at the menu. If you like anything, just order it directly. In fact, he originally booked the seat because he wanted to have a simple reunion dinner with Huo Xianan. After all, the two of them are friends who have shared joys and sorrows. Even if they are not in the same place now, they must keep in touch and keep their friendship forever. Unexpectedly, Wen Jiu would suddenly invite them, so he contacted the staff before coming, changed the small private room to a large one, and ordered a few famous special dishes. Although he knew that Wen Jiu had eaten a lot of good things, he still had to be polite as the host. Since you said so, I won't be polite. Zikingayu decisively took the electronic panel for ordering food and started looking for delicious dishes with Kaioshishi. Chujian and Stephanie were not very interested in eating out, so one of them opened the light screen panel to play games, and the other carefully edited the New Year Makup video he was going to release. Wen Jiu looked through the menu, and after seeing the shocking numbers on it, he silently put down the electronic panel and then went shopping in the Star Network supermarket. But she had just put a few things in the shopping cart when she heard the sound of the chair next to her being pulled away. Why are you sitting here? She couldn't help but turn her head to look in confusion. I'm left-handed, you'll get poked if you sit here. In fact, being left-handed was just an excuse. She just didn't want to sit next to Luo. There was no other reason, but she felt that if there was an empty seat, she would have more space to eat and could spread out all the dishes. Hearing this, Luo raised his eyebrows in surprise. Are you left-handed? Yes, so I suggest you don't sit here. She shrugged indifferently. When the other party heard this, he raised the corner of his mouth. It doesn't matter. It just so happens that I'm left-handed too. Point if you have something to say, just say it directly. She saw Luo's intention. You want to take the opportunity to inquire about our selection of military academies again, right? She didn't understand why the other party always liked to complicate simple things. It was obvious that she could just ask a question directly, but he had to make her fists itch. Besides, since everyone has already chosen a military academy, there is nothing to avoid talking about. After he finished speaking, Huo Xianan laughed again. Number 9, you are still as straightforward as ever. But I like you like this, much better than someone who always beats around the bush. Although he and Luo are good friends who can talk about anything, he also doesn't like the other party's complicated thoughts that are always beating around the bush. Isn't it better to say what you want to say directly? Why do you have to beat around the bush? This will make his already inflexible mind even more difficult to function. Point it seems that I'm wrong again this time. Luo was not embarrassed. After being pointed out, he still maintained a decent smile. "Well, I do want to ask you about your choice of military academy." Although he didn't know the situation of Wen Jiu and others, he knew that all the young people who were willing to go to military academies and who could choose military academies at present had made their own choices. Wen Jiu didn't hide anything this time and just told the truth. "Actually, there's nothing to talk about. The 5 of us all chose RIA Military Academy, and the 2 of you both chose AIR's Military Academy. It's unlikely that you'll be classmates in the future, but the probability of you being opponents is quite high. Well, is there anything else you want to know?" As soon as she finished speaking, Huo Xianan asked in surprise, "You 5 all chose RIA Military Academy? Wait, do you mean that you, number 1, and Nini will all go to RIA Military Academy in the future?" "Yes, is it not okay for us to be classmates?" she replied in a nonchalant manner. Both her words and her reaction surprised Huo Xianan and Luo Yi, because they had previously speculated privately that Wen Jiu, number 1, and Nini would most likely go to the Imperial Capital Military Academy. At the very least, it should be AIR's Military Academy, so that the 3 of them could be classmates. After all, the Quan'ing Pavilion only recruits female students, and Beichuan Academy will not accept Nini. So they thought that the Imperial Capital Military Academy and AIR's Military Academy were the military academies that Wen Jiu and the other 2 would most likely choose. As for Zikingayu and Kaioshishi, they did not get the direct admission quota, and they did not know how long they would have to study in the preparatory military academy, so it was not important what military academy they chose now. But what Huo Xianan and Luo Yi never expected was that these 5 people actually chose the RIA Military Academy, which was ranked last among the 5 major military academies. You know, they had never considered the RIA Military Academy, and they thought that Wen Jiu and the others were least likely to go. Have you really thought about it? The RIA Military Academy is very ordinary. Huo Xianan couldn't help but ask curiously whether it is teaching facilities or teaching staff. The RIA Military Academy is at the bottom of the 5 major military academies. Oh, their student strength is also at the bottom of the 5 major military academies. You should know that the 5 major military academies hold military academy competitions every once in a while, right? The RIA Military Academy has been ranked last for many consecutive sessions. Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Thanks again to the lovely little angels. 030. Chapter 1163 Looking to the Future 2. To be honest, I just know it now. Thank you. As soon as Wen Jiu finished speaking, Huo Xianan showed a speechless expression. Seeing this, she couldn't help but spread her hands innocently. Before the other party said that, she really didn't know about this. There was no way. She had too many things to do on weekdays, and it was normal to miss some current affairs. And she is not in the academy now. Her cultural subjects are worse than Zikingayu, so you can't blame her for not knowing these things. This is also one of the important reasons why Uruman was anxious to find a teacher to tutor her. In short, Ruia Military Academy is really not good. You can change schools as soon as possible before you officially enroll. Huo Xianan was originally an impatient and hot-tempered person, so he didn't have the time to explain so much to Wen Jiu. Don't delay your bright future. After all, Wen Jiu and others are different from him. Even if he goes to Ruia Military Academy, he can rely on the power of his family in the future to make up for his shortcomings in military academies. But Wen Jiu and his people are from low-level planets, with neither family power nor backing. If something goes wrong in the military academy, it will be difficult for them to enter the top-ranked military districts in the future. Moreover, the RIA Military Academy is the only one of the 5 major military academies that does not belong to a military district. In other words, if Wen Jiu and his people enter the RIA Military Academy, they will not get any help in the future. He and Wen Jiu and his people are friends after all, so he naturally can't bear to see them ruin their bright future. After the words fell, Luo Yi on the side also nodded in agreement and said, although the RIA Military Academy can be one of the 5 major military academies, you really don't need to choose this military academy with your ability. There are tens of thousands of military academies in the entire galaxy, so the 5 major military academies can be regarded as the ceiling among many military academies. Therefore, all the reserve military students dream of entering the 5 major military academies, becoming an enviable member, and getting a better future. It's just that it's really difficult to enter the 5 major military academies, and countless people are screened out every year. Therefore, some people who fail to get into the Imperial Capital Military Academy or other military academies will set their sights on the RIA Military Academy, which is at the bottom of the 5. After all, even if it is the bottom, it is still one of the top 5. Most of these people are opportunists, or those with slightly inferior abilities but still acceptable. But Wen Jiu and others are neither the former nor the latter, so LUOUE thinks they really shouldn't apply for the RIA Military Academy. Based on my previous experience with you, I think it is most appropriate for you to go to the Imperial Capital Military Academy. LUOUE did not hide his secrets this time, but analyzed it seriously. The Imperial Capital Military Academy is the top of the 5 major military academies, and it is very good at teaching students. It is neither as rigid as Beethoven Academy, nor as strict as Ayres Military Academy. If you choose the Imperial Capital Military Academy, you will definitely get a lot of help in both study and future development. Moreover, it is difficult to get a place in the Imperial Capital Military Academy, so don't waste such a precious opportunity. It's not that he looks down on people from low-level planets, but some things are difficult to change. The reason why many planets are classified by the Federation is naturally because of the gap in resources in various aspects. The educational resources of low-level planets must be worse than those of medium-level and high-level planets. It is also because of this that there are few citizens from low-level planets in the 5 major military academies. There is no way, unless you are really talented, otherwise your efforts will be limited. So he really hopes that Wen Jiu and others can seize the opportunity and never let a moment of confusion lead to lifelong regrets in the future. After the words fell, Wen Jiu shook his head in disagreement. Thank you for your advice, but we have thought about it and submitted the procedures. Although she didn't know much about the military school competition, she still knew about the situation of Ruia Military Academy. You know, she had discussed with Zikingayu and others for a long time in order to choose a military school. So no matter how much LUOUE and HUO Xianan disliked Ruia Military Academy, she would not change the decision she and her friends made. You really won't think about it again. HUO Xianan sighed in disappointment. Young man, I really don't understand what you are thinking. After your skull is opened, it won't be empty inside, right? He didn't understand why Wen Jiu was so stubborn. RIA Military Academy was the worst of the 5 major military academies. Was the other party drugged? Why did he have to go to RIA Military Academy? Hearing this, Chu Jian sneered in displeasure. I think your head is just a decoration. Do you want to chop it off and make a soup bowl? Ahem. Calm down. Brother Hey, calm down. When Zikingayu heard this, he hurried out to ease the atmosphere. Actually, I think RIA Military Academy is pretty good. Although the educational resources are a little worse than other military academies, they are not bad in managing students. At least they are willing to let students develop freely. He also wanted to go to other military academies at first, but after he analyzed it rationally, he had to admit that RIA Military Academy was the most suitable for him, and Wen Jiu and others. After the words fell, HUO Xianan continued to refute. The Imperial Capital Military Academy will also allow students to develop freely. Forget it. If you don't listen to my words, forget it. But if you choose RIA Military Academy, the other seedlings will be very disappointed. This instantly attracted Wen Jiu's attention. Other seedlings? Do you have any contact information for other seedlings? The main reason was that she was alone on Doris Star during the battle, so she was not very clear about what happened on Brick Star. Although Zikingayu and Kyoshishi still talked a lot during the chat, neither of them mentioned how they got along with other seedlings. After all, this part is irrelevant, so even the two who are usually talkative rarely mention it. Chu Jian and Stephanie were illegal residents at that time, and could not even use the wisdom ring. In addition, they didn't like to chat, so they would never tell her these things. Of course, don't you see who I am? HUO Xianan raised his eyebrows ostentatiously, but among the top 10 seedlings, except for us and you 3, only 3 people chose to go to military school next, and the other 2 chose to receive treatment in the hospital. Not everyone can forget what happened in the seedling base like them. So 2 of the top 10 seedlings chose to receive psychological treatment in the hospital, and they will not consider entering a military school before they are completely recovered. Hearing this, Stephanie finally became interested. Hey, there are 3 more little cuties who also chose to go to military school. Who are they? Huo Xianan kept the suspense. When he heard this, it's so boring to say it directly. Why don't you guys guess first? Today's 3rd update has also been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Dear little angels. 030. Chapter 1164 Looking to the Future 3. However, no one in the room responded to Huo Xianan's words, and they just talked about other interesting things. Seeing this, Huo Xianan couldn't help but snorted. If you don't want to guess, forget it. I don't want to say it either. He was not a very enthusiastic person. The reason why he told Wen Jiu and others was because of the past friendship. Since these people didn't want to appreciate it, he didn't bother to say anything more. Okay. Luo smiled and came out to make peace. Actually, it's number 2, Ivan, and Naven. The 3 of them have chosen to go to the military academy, but the time for enrollment has not been decided yet. Hearing this, Wen Jiu just raised his eyelids and didn't express any opinions. Because she and number 2 were not familiar with each other, and they had almost no communication when they were at the seedling base, so she didn't care much about each other's situation. As for the twin brothers Ivan and Naven, they seemed to have their brains eaten by zombies, and their illness was more serious than Stephanie. Forget it, these 2 people can't compare with Stephanie at all. At least Stephanie would not hurt her own people, even if she was ill, but the twin brothers could kill each other. Therefore, she had a bad impression of Ivan and Naven, and had no interest in asking about their affairs. Although she had no intention of continuing the conversation, Zikingayu and others were still interested. Especially Zikingayu, when he was on Brickstar, he could still chat with number 2 seedling. However, number 2 seedling was later locked up in the observation area by the 8th military region because he participated in the resistance action. In addition, the other party was still in a state of memory disorder, so he was unable to leave a contact method. Has No 2's memory been recovered? Which planet is he a native citizen of? Can you give me his Star Network account? Zikingayu asked 3 questions in a row, half curious and half excited, but Huo Xianan put on a high-handed attitude, and it was almost written on his face that he didn't want to answer. Fortunately, Luo was very reasonable. Number 2's memory has been recovered, but he is still receiving treatment recently, so we can't contact him in the short term. If you need anything, I will send you the StarNet account when he can be contacted. Luo told all the information he knew, and when Jiu and others knew that number 2's real name was Zizao, a citizen from Slintana, and he also chose Air's military academy. Of course, this also refers to Luo and Huo Xianan. You 3 are going to Rear Military Academy, and the 3 of us are going to Air's military academy. From a certain perspective, it can be regarded as a tie. Huo Xianan turned his chopsticks nonchalantly, with a smile in his brown eyes. In fact, it was a good thing that when Jiu and the other 2 went to Rear Military Academy, so that he would not have to worry about competing for the quota to participate in the military academy competition in the future in the same military academy. He didn't admit defeat before the battle even started, he just didn't want to fight too badly. After all, the number of places for the military school competition is limited, and it is usually set between 5 and 7 people. If there are 6 or 7 people, it is still okay, but if there are only 5 people, then one of the 6 will not be selected. No matter who does not enter the military school competition, he will find it boring. So it is good now, at least they can have a good fight in the military school competition in the future. Just as he was thinking silently, he heard Zikingayu ask again, what about Ivan and Naven? I always feel that they need to check their mental state first, and then talk about returning to normal society and entering the military school. Point they have passed the mental test of the Federation. Although it is still a little dangerous, it will not harm the society. Luo couldn't help but pursed his lips and smiled when he heard this. If my information is correct, they should have chosen Beichuan Academy. To be honest, this result is quite unexpected to me. You must know that Beichuan Academy is the most strictly managed of the 5 major military academies, and Ivan and Naven are both people who do whatever they want and act recklessly. Therefore, neither Luoyi nor Huo Xianan guessed that the brothers would choose Beichuan Academy. They actually chose Beichuan Academy. Isn't this courting death? Zikingai did not hide his surprise at all. I heard from my brother that Beichuan Academy is under militarized management, even stricter than some military regions. It is precisely because of this that he has never considered Beichuan Academy. There is no way. He is a little bird who loves freedom. Although he is not familiar with the brothers Ivan and Naven, he still knows how willful they are. It can only be said that the world is unpredictable and people's hearts are unpredictable, and some things are always unexpected to him. After saying this, Huo Xianan restrained his anger and raised the corner of his lips nonchalantly. There is a saying that negatives equal positives. What if they can become normal people under strict management after going to Beichuan Academy? In short, no matter how weird they are not as weird as you. You chose to go to the most rubbish Ria Military Academy instead of the good Imperial Capital Military Academy. He could understand why Ivan and Naven went to Beichuan Academy, but he couldn't understand why Wen Jiu and others chose Ria Military Academy. These people obviously have such outstanding abilities, but they insisted on choosing the bottom military academy among the 5 major military academies. What's wrong? You're almost there. Wen Jiu glanced at Huo Xianan impatiently. It's our business how we choose. Take care of yourself. Although she knew that Huo Xianan didn't want her to waste a great opportunity, the other party's repeated words really made her feel irritated. Everyone in this world has different ideas. Why do you have to force others to do what you want? Besides, choosing Ria Military Academy was a decision she made with Kaioshishi and others. Even their families did not comment on this. How could Huo Xianan and Luoyi have the qualifications to point fingers? Just give some suggestions. After saying that, Huo Xianan was not angry. Okay, I'll wait to see you regret it in the future. Anyway, he said everything he should say. If Wen Jiu and others don't listen to his advice, then forget it. Time will always prove everything. Seeing that the atmosphere became a little anxious, Luoyi smiled and changed the subject. The dishes we ordered should be served soon. The cherry meat in this restaurant is very famous. You have to eat more and taste it well. And the fried meat with yan'an fruit is also good. It is a very spicy dish that goes well with rice. If any one of you doesn't eat spicy food, remember to avoid this dish. Since Luoyi took the initiative to change the subject, Wen Jiu and others naturally followed suit. After all, there was no hatred between them, and they were out to play during the spring festival, so there was really no need to make things too awkward. The first update of today has been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support. 030. Whispering. I was busy with 800 plus tests at school today, and I've been exhausted. I don't have the energy to write anymore. ORZ. I'll make up the next 2 updates after I wake up. I really can't write anymore now. ORZ. Chapter 1165. Looking to the future 4. As they chatted, they finally waited for the waiter to serve the dishes. One after another, the round wooden table was filled with exquisite and beautiful dishes. Seeing this, everyone picked up their chopsticks and started to eat happily. However, the 5 people headed by Wen Jiu put down their chopsticks while eating. Are you full after eating so little? Huo Xianan asked in confusion. Be careful not to grow tall when losing weight during puberty. Hearing this, Wen Jiu drank a sip of cold water first, and then replied, I'm full. We have small appetites. After all, this meal was invited by Luoyi, and she couldn't tell the truth directly. Just as she finished her words, the other party smiled gently and said, actually, you guys are not used to it, right? It doesn't matter if you are not used to it, just eat less. Ahem. Don't tell the damn truth. Zikingai pretended to be angry and patted the table lightly. It's mainly because we were full before we came, so we can't eat these dishes now. In fact, the restaurant Luoyi chose is quite good, and the food is much better than ordinary restaurants. It's just that he has been used to eating more delicious food in the past few days, so he is really not interested in what is in front of him now. It's all because Wen Jiu's cooking skills are too good, so he doesn't even have the blessing of enjoying a high-end restaurant. But whoever wants this blessing can want it. He will die with the food made by Wen Jiu. Huo Xianan snorted coldly when he heard this. If you don't like it, then don't like it. Can you just say it directly? If you have something to say. We just played in the mushroom market and lake park for most of the day. Even if you had eaten before coming, you should have been hungry a long time ago. So, in fact, you are not used to the food, right? Oh, yes. Seeing that Huo Xianan was about to slam the table, Zikingayu simply admitted that he just didn't want to eat it. There is no way. My sister Jiu has spoiled my appetite. That's right. He just wanted to take the opportunity to show off and piss off Huo Xianan, who was a firecracker that would explode at the slightest touch. As soon as the voice fell, Huo Xianan was so angry that he rolled his eyes. Wen Jiu's dishes can be better than this restaurant's. It's not that I look down on her. This restaurant is ranked in the top 10 restaurants in the world on Star Network. Do you know how many people want to come to eat but can't? Even if Wen Jiu is good at cooking, he doesn't think the other party's dishes can be better than this restaurant's. However, before he could wait for Zikingayu's answer, he heard Luo suddenly change the subject. Oh, by the way, I suddenly remembered that there is something I haven't asked you yet. It's the holographic game we played together before. Do you remember the level of the campus legend? I remember. It was scary. Kyoshi answered while eating dessert. I had nightmares for several nights after I left. Although she was not interested in the food in this restaurant, in order to give face to Luo and Huo Xianan, she ate a few bites of desserts from time to support the occasion. After all, this meal was Luo's treat, and if they really didn't eat at all, it would be a bit impolite. Luo continued after hearing this. That level is scarier than the other levels, and there are also logical problems, so I went to the game forum to search and see how other players cleared it. But for some reason, it seems that no other players have played this level. I searched for a long time, but couldn't find any relevant posts. He had just said this when Huo Xianan lazily added. Later I posted a post on the forum to ask, but those players said they had never seen this level, and said that due to the new regulations issued by the Federation, there is no level with a campus background in this game. This made Zikingayu and Kyoshi feel a little creepy. They were both more or less afraid of scary and supernatural things. It was just that the two children, out of curiosity, would occasionally try games, movies, and books about this. But no matter how scary the games, movies, and books were, they were not as good as encountering such things in reality. So Zikingayu's voice was trembling. What do you mean there is no level with the campus as the background? If there is no level, then how did we get to this level? Kyoshi followed up. From a certain perspective, they were in sync. Hearing this, Luo changed his previous seriousness and put on a faint smile. Putting aside the supernatural metaphysics, it is likely that we encountered a bug. I heard that when Lake Company was making this game, it actually added a level with a campus background, but it was deleted later due to the new federal regulations. That is to say, when we were randomly selecting levels, we happened to randomly select this level. That was not deleted. This can also explain why the plot in the level is incomplete, and there are many logical problems in the gameplay of this level. Kyoshi suddenly realized when she heard this. So that's the case. I was wondering why other levels use character names, but that campus level uses our real names. As the few of them chatted, they rationalized a seemingly terrifying thing, and their originally nervous mood relaxed. But the meal was not very pleasant after all, because Huo Xianan was very dissatisfied with the performance of Wen Jiu and others. So when they parted after the meal, he left without even saying hello, leaving Luo alone to wave goodbye. However, Wen Jiu and his group didn't care much about these things. After saying goodbye, they left the Star Network world directly. Although the speed of time in the Star Network world is different from that in the real world, it is time to wash up and go to bed. So they didn't talk much, just went upstairs to their respective rooms. Kingayu Shianshan Xiang. Damn, I suddenly remembered something. Now I'm a little scared and can't sleep. Is there anyone to accompany me to the living room for a while? Wen Jiu had just finished washing up and lay on the bed when he received a message from Kingayu in the group. Shishi, study hard Zaya Banley, don't tell horror stories late at night, just hold it in and scare yourself. Jian is really speechless. Zaya Hua is right. Nini likes Jiu Jiu. Zaya Hua is right. Jiu Jiu is rich +1. Wow. How could you do this to me? I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to say it and scare you to death. I can't sleep and you guys can't sleep either. Destroy it. I'm tired. JPG. When we were in the Star Network world before, didn't the little prince say that the school level appeared because we made a mistake when we randomly selected the level? But I just suddenly remembered that we didn't randomly select the level at that time. That level is in my level selection list, and I specifically pointed it out to show Brother Henry the plot summary. The second update is here. It's delivered quickly. Please check it, little angels. Thank you for your understanding. Cack. The third update will allow the author to have a meal and continue coding. Love you 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1166 Takeoff 1. Under the reckless verbal bombardment of Kingayu, everyone's sleepiness disappeared at this time. Of course, except Stephanie. As early as when Kingayu uttered the second sentence, she was lying on the bed sleeping more deeply than a pig. Therefore, she did not participate in the following discussion and only knew that the matter was over after waking up. The main reason was that, although Wen Jiu knew that there was something strange about this matter, Zhu Wangming had said before that the background of the lake group was deep and it was difficult for them to explore it with their current capabilities. Even if they found more doubts, there was no way to confirm or prove anything. In short, it was powerless. In this case, it would be better to spend the spring festival well and treat it as a bug in the game. So after everyone got up the next day, they tacitly skipped this matter and only discussed what to do in the new day. Chu Jian naturally had to visit relatives and friends with Lao Chu, while Kaio Shishi and Kingayu stayed at home to rest. As for Wen Jiu and Stephanie, they were taken to the garden by Yu Ruman, saying that they would take the opportunity to improve their fighting skills. Since they are equally good at fighting, they don't have to worry about who will hit too hard and cause problems, and they can also find out their current shortcomings in the process. In short, life still has to go on, and people won't be panicked because of one or two small episodes. As we all know, the flow of time on holidays and weekdays is different. The 7-day holiday is as short as rolling in bed. Just after turning over, you have to go to work or school again. How come the spring festival is over? I just played games for a few days, slept for a few days, and ate delicious food for a few days. I haven't done anything yet. Kingayu lay on the sofa in the living room early in the morning, and she was unwilling to face the fact that she had to continue training. Although there is still more than a week before the start of the 3047 Academy, there is a teacher from the 3047 Academy living at home. And this teacher is quite conscientious. Yu Ruman answered, while eating a bun, you have used up all your time eating, sleeping, and playing games, so naturally you have no time to do anything. Despite this, you still have to train hard, and don't try to make excuses, okay? Mainly because when she was teaching Wen Jiu a few days ago, she found that Kingayu and Kaio Shishi were a little slack in training, so she wanted to help them find their form before school started. As for how to find it, of course, it was to train together. I can't accept it. Kingayu rolled on the sofa again. Time flies too fast. Hearing this, Kaio Shishi couldn't help but joked. I remember someone was complaining a few days ago, saying that he hoped time could pass faster. Why is he unhappy today? Kingayu sat up with a carb when he heard this. This is called this time is fast, not that time is fast. I hope time passes faster, because I want to see my parents, not because I want to train. The Z couple and Zizu successfully arrived at the Imperial capital Star and returned to the main house of the Fei family 3 days ago, but the three of them said they would set off to return to planet 3047 after less than a day. At such a fast speed, even Zikingayu, who has always been innocent, can sense that something is wrong. But no matter how he asked, the Z couple and Zizu refused to tell him what happened. Therefore, he hoped that time could pass faster. He didn't believe that he couldn't find out the reason in person. He never thought that time passed so quickly, but it was so fast that it made him a little painful. Although he would train on his own during the holidays, the intensity of the training was just right, and he would not challenge the limit like Uruman. So, is there anyone who can come to save him? Don't scream. If you have time to scream, you might as well go out and run a few more laps to warm up. Wen Jiu sipped the corn porridge cooked by Hukiki. Anyway, you have to train in the morning and in the evening, so don't scream like a pig waiting to be slaughtered. She had been tortured by Uruman for several days, and the initial pain had become a habit now, so she didn't think there was anything painful about training. Of course, she was still very happy that Zikingayu and Kyoshishi joined the training. It's not that she thinks this is good for them, nor is it that she is happy to have someone accompany her in training. It's that after she was caught in the rain, she wanted to tear up other people's umbrellas. If you want to suffer, let's suffer together. No one can escape. After the words fell, Kyoshishi burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. I suggest that Zyobangli be renamed Zyozazu. You are the Zyozazu. Zikingayu hammered the sofa angrily. It's just a few days of training. This can't be a problem for this young master. Let's make a deal first. Whoever shouts no first will be the real Zyozazu. Facts have proved that people still can't say too much. In order to allow these children to break through their limits and improve their abilities, Uruman deliberately increased the intensity of training. At the beginning, Zikingayu could still grit his teeth and persist. Even if he was tired and sweaty every day, he was unwilling to be the first to shout no and become a Zyozazu. Until the 5th day of endurance training, Zikingayu finally shouted no and thus became a real Zyozazu. Although he refused to admit that there was such a thing later, everyone still changed the name of Zyobangli to Zyozazu. Of course, this is limited to when there are no strangers around. They still know to save face for each other. Jiu, are you going to the shelter? Wen Jiu had just changed into warm clothes and was about to go out when she saw Kyoshishi running over with a gift box. Seeing this, she couldn't help but ask curiously, yes, do you want me to help you take this gift over? Hehe yes. The other party handed her the box. Then please help me give this to Kinking. I promised to make warm earmuffs for it before. As a result, I miscalculated and didn't buy enough wool, so I couldn't make the earmuffs during the spring festival. Mainly because Kyoshishi had to attend training today, she could only entrust her to pass the gift to Kinking. By the way, Kinking was the rabbit spirit that was taken back to the villa to live before. Okay, then I'll help you pass it to her. Wen Jiu put Kyoshishi's gift into the Zigi space and then went out and took a special car to the shelter. Because she had been training for many days in a row and she had something to deal with today, Uruman gave her a day off. To be honest, this training is really tiring, but it is also really helpful. So she will continue to train next and try to make up for the shortcomings before going to the military academy. The 3rd update is coming. It's coming. It's really coming. Thank you again to the little angels for your understanding and support. Love you so much. QWQ. Chapter 1167 Takeoff 2. Wen Jiu went to the shelter today mainly for 2 things. One was to reallocate positions and stores to all the demons according to their work performance, and the other was to put the things that the demons needed her to bring back into the Zigi space. Because the demons' work performance was different, and it was very important for the demons to get along well with each other, she decided to reallocate based on these 2 points. For example, Husan and King Yui were incompatible, and both demons performed very well, so they could be assigned to different stores. Another example was Li Dagon and Huziosi, who was disguised as a dog demon. The 2 demons performed well, but did not get along well, so they could also be assigned to different stores to avoid conflicts. In short, everything was for the demons to work more devotedly. Only by improving the working environment of these demons, their work attitude would become more positive, which would make Tao Yao's development better and better, and make her flat pockets bulge again. This is the so-called chain reaction. I have written a new list. I will put it here for you to read. It is a good opportunity to test your level of federal language. Wen Jiu posted the list in the lobby on the first floor, and then began to count the things that the demons needed her to bring. It happened that the route from the desolate planet to planet 3047 was opened a few days ago. She could take the opportunity to help bring things back to see if the route was normal. By the way, she could also bring a new batch of working demons, as well as vegetables and fruits prepared by the Jade Rabbit tribe. Boss, this is the specialty of the human world that I bought. Please help me send it to the Jade Rabbit tribe and give it to my rabbit. Hearing this, she first took the bag that King handed over, and then took out the box that Kaioshishi asked her to pass on. Because King had lived in her house for a while before, she had a good relationship with Kaioshishi. The man and the demon would occasionally go shopping and play together. Boss, please take these things back to the dog demon tribe. I bought some dog snacks and dog clothes. I don't know if the kids at home like them. This is mine. Please help me send them back to the Blue Bad tribe. These are for the Lily tribe. Just give them to the tribe leader and he will distribute them to other Lily. The demon tribe rushed to register in front of Wen Jiu. They bought a lot of things before the spring festival holiday. On the one hand, it was to make their families and tribesmen live better, so that everyone can enjoy the comfort and convenience of the human world together. On the other hand, it was to let their families and tribesmen know that they were living well in the human world. Although they have been using communicators to contact their families and tribesmen, the demon tribesmen who stayed on the desolate star don't know whether what they said is true or false, and they are always worried that they will not live well in the human world and be bullied. Therefore, they naturally have to find a way to prove it, so that their parents and tribesmen can be relieved. After Wen Jiu and the other demon tribesmen finished reading the list and registered the things they wanted to bring, they took a special car to the East Lake shopping mall. The reason why the demons are still on vacation in the shelter today is because Tao Yao's main store and branch stores are being renovated. Since Tao Yao is not open, they naturally don't have to work. Because Ziziu is still on the spaceship on the way home, and Mengyehan is thousands of miles away in the Imperial capital star, Wen Jiu has to monitor the progress of the renovation. Master Wang, will the renovation be completed the day after tomorrow? As soon as she walked to the door of Tao Yao's store in Danghu Mall, she saw several robots busy inside, and Master Wang, the contractor, was standing outside the door, seemingly carefully studying the small details on the design drawing. After hearing her words, the other party quickly put away the design drawings and showed a kind smile. Hello, Miss Wen. If nothing goes wrong, the decoration will be completed the day after tomorrow, and you can put it into use directly then. That's fine. I'm in a hurry to reopen here, she said with a smile, while observing the decoration of the store. Master Wang, your robots are very powerful, and they made it exactly the same as the drawings I designed. The design drawings for the renovation this time were made by her. The macaron color is the main tone and has a dreamy feeling. It looks light and bright, which makes people feel happy, and it is also in line with the positioning of the Tao Yao brand. Yes, Tao Yao has begun to develop into a brand. After all, Wen Jiu, Ziziu and Mengyehan have decided to open a company for Tao Yao, so naturally they have to develop Tao Yao into a brand. This brand must have a style that people can remember. So after the three of them discussed and communicated, they decided to use the dreamy style that is most suitable for desserts. This is also an important reason why several Tao Yao stores did not open after the spring festival and all of them were collectively renovated. Hey, Miss Wen, you are too kind. Master Wang laughed happily. I received your star coins, so of course I have to do my job well. Hearing this, Wen Jiu just smiled and said nothing. Then she went into the store to check it out. After confirming that there were no problems in all aspects, she took a special car to go to several other stores. I have to say that Master Wang is quite reliable. Not only are the renovation progress of the Teo main store and the branch consistent, but even the details of each aspect are done exactly the same. The next step is to wait for the acceptance of the results the day after tomorrow, and after the acceptance, the business can be reopened. After Wen Jiu finished the work she was supposed to do, she went to the supermarket to buy some fresh fruits and vegetables. The main reason was that she only did a live broadcast once during the 7-day Spring Festival holiday, and now it was time to start the broadcast and interact with money fans. So she thought about buying some fruits and vegetables that she had never made or rarely made, and making a few special and rare dishes for everyone to open their eyes. After buying the vegetables, she took a special car back to her villa in Zishan district. At this moment, Yu Ruman was still training with Zeke and Gayu and others, so she could only drag Hu Kiki and Hu Baba to cook. Hey, boss, why did you buy so many lychees? Do you need me to peel them and give them to Miss Yu and the others? Hu Baba was still not very good at cooking, so she took the initiative to do the work of washing the ingredients every time. She was about to take the bag to the sink to wash the dishes when she found that there were many lychees in it. Hearing this, Wen Jiu quickly replied, no, these are for cooking. Just peel them and put them next to me. Can lychees be used for cooking? She asked curiously while sorting the ingredients. I haven't eaten dishes made with lychees yet. As soon as she finished speaking, Hu Kiki snorted, oh, there are so many dishes you haven't eaten. Why are you making such a fuss? Oh, then there are so many dishes you haven't eaten either. She refuted without showing any weakness. You are just like me, living by clinging to the boss's thigh. Jiang, today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out, little angels. 030. Chapter 1168 Strange Dishes Added 1. Although Fox Kiki and Fox Baba were arguing, the two foxes were still working seriously. So when Jiu took out the little B4 live broadcast and started her live broadcast after 3, 4, 5, or 6 days. Hello, I haven't seen you for a few days. Did you miss me? Goopoo ZHE. As soon as I opened the beaker, I received a reminder of Sister Farke's live broadcast. Suddenly I felt that I was the luckiest person today. I'm so anxious. While waiting for Sister Farke to start broadcasting, I was like, my name. Fortunately, I finally waited for Sister Farke to start broadcasting. Pumpkin Dagwanan. Damn. After Sister Farke had more fans, I couldn't get the front barrage position. I was suddenly excited and wanted to cry. Whined like man. What dish did Sister Farke cook today? So that I can decide whether to have corn and pork dumplings, or pickled mustard greens, and braised pork with rock sugar and snow pears for lunch. Those who have grabbed the spot of me Kakarao should get out of the live broadcast room. I can't be the only one who didn't grab the spot. Completely crazy. Completely crazy. Completely crazy. Today I will make a few dishes that you probably haven't seen much. Wen Jiu said while showing the ingredients to the camera. Do you know that lychees can also be used to cook? As soon as he finished speaking, the barrage of comments came like a tide. That's it. HMM. What has stimulated Sister Farke? Why do you want to make dark dishes? I'm so hungry, Sister Farke. If you have any suffering, you can tell me. There is no need to make such dark dishes to hurt us. As far as I know, fruits can indeed be used to cook, but I think Sister Farke should not use fruits to cook because of the taste. I used to cook with bananas and apples. To be honest, the taste is really unforgettable. I suggest that everyone should never use fruits to cook. After all, not everyone can tolerate the taste of X. I want to be close to Sister Farke. Although I have never tasted dishes made with fruits, I think I can imagine the taste. Sister Farke, you can't eat garbage just after the Spring Festival. Wake up. It can be seen that most people have never eaten dishes made with fruits, so 9 out of 10 comments are trying to persuade Wen Jiu to stop. As for the remaining one, it is even more frantic to dissuade him. Rocky wants to eat all over the stars. Sister Farke, I will give you 10 guardian angels. Can you promise me not to cook with fruits? Fujikura Sachiko, damn. Fruit dishes are really bad. I tried fried honeydew melon before, and it was so bad that I burst into tears. It's magic, not sesame paste. In fact, I don't think everyone's reaction should be so big. Sister Farke also used some strange ingredients to cook before, but the dishes tasted pretty good. Maybe fruit dishes will taste good too? Chicken, beef and sheep gift pack. Imagine master, can you be more rational? How can fruit dishes taste good? Because Wen Jiu had never failed to cook before, some viewers chose to believe it after questioning it. Wen Jiu herself didn't feel much about the reaction of the barrage. After all, she had been questioned a lot when she cooked before. Therefore, she only wanted to cook the dishes and leave the rest to the audience. Besides, posting more comments can increase her popularity. If you want to post more comments, just post more comments. Today, I will make 2 dishes with lychees. One is lychee chicken and the other is lychee jelly. In addition, I will make 2 dishes with peaches. One is peach fried shrimp and the other is peach egg tart. These 4 dishes are all made with fruits, and you can enjoy a feast today. By the way, lychee jelly and peach egg tart will be sold on Teo next. If you want to taste them, you can place an order in my small shop. However, in order to ensure the quality of all desserts, the number of orders that each user can place is limited. Although she has recruited many new Yeozu employees, Teo's desserts are handmade after all, and cannot be mass-produced like machines. Therefore, she decided that it would be better to keep the online and offline stores the same limited. I don't understand the whiteness of the night. I suddenly realized a problem. Why can everyone accept desserts made from fruits, but not dishes made from fruits? Chris wants to eat 5 bowls, because it's really uncomfortable to cook with fruits. Making desserts with fruits is a basic operation, so I really can't accept cooking with fruits. This is really challenging the limits of human beings. Ding dang 20. Although, don't be too sure. I vaguely remember that when Sister Farke used buttermelon to cook, everyone also said that they would never eat a bite, but in the end whined like man. This buttermelon is a vegetable after all, and lychee is a pure fruit. Ding dang. Don't be blinded by your love for Sister Farke. Beauty is speechless. I think Sister Farke's desserts with fruits are so delicious, and the taste of dishes made with fruits should not be much worse. Besides, buttermelon is a million times more unpalatable than lychee. Sister Farke can make even buttermelon as unpalatable as it is delicious, so cooking with lychee will definitely satisfy our appetite. Wen Jiu was processing the ingredients carefully, but the barrage of comments was still noisy. Seeing this, she spoke softly about the next plan. I almost forgot to tell you our good news. Teo is expected to open branches on other planets within this year. You can look forward to whether it will be on your own planet. As soon as she finished speaking, the barrage of comments exploded. Send a guardian angel to Sister Farke. Family members, I have already privately messaged Sister Farke the name of my planet. Do you think I did the right thing? Little bear poo 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 app. What an explosive good news. Money lovers, I will open a bottle of good wine to celebrate. Glacier, I also want to celebrate, but unfortunately I'm still at work. I'm crying. Can you, Sister Farke, open a branch on my planet, because I'm so miserable? Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Go, go, go. Stop playing the pitiful game. Let me play the pitiful game. Sister Farke, I'm your first fan and the first money fan. It is a bit unreasonable that your first branch on an alien planet is not opened on my planet, right? Pumpkin Big Guanan. Chris, you haven't kowtowed to Sister Farke to apologize 3 times. How can you have the nerve to let Sister Farke open a branch on your planet? Let's just say, record a video to kowtow and apologize to Sister Farke first. If it weren't for your blind guess, Sister Farke wouldn't have been mistaken as a dwarf. Today's second update has also been delivered. Thank you to every little angel for your support and love. 030. Chapter 1169 Strange Dishes Added to. Don't worry, even if Teo's branch can't be opened on everyone's planet for the time being, it will definitely be opened here in the future. As for Chris, let's talk about your matter later. Seeing the audience's enthusiastic response, Wen Jiu knew that she had successfully changed the subject. Although she wanted to ask Chris why he thought she was a dwarf right now, she decided to talk about it in private because he was her first audience and had no bad intentions. So she talked to everyone about opening a branch, and she didn't start cooking seriously until Hukiki and Hubaba had prepared the ingredients. What I'm going to make now is lychee sliced chicken. First of all, I have to prepare this chicken, she said while showing the ingredients to the camera. Don't leave the chicken's head, neck, and butt. Beauty speechless, poor butt, it was cut off like this. Pumpkin big guan man, although, there shouldn't be many people who like to eat butts. Actually, the taste of roasted chicken, butt is not bad. If you are interested, you can try it. Really. I promise you with my good fortune for the rest of my life. 33. No, brother, you should keep this blessing for yourself. The barrage was finally restored to a harmonious atmosphere, without any tension. Seeing this, Wen Jiu breathed a sigh of relief, and continued to teach everyone how to cook. In fact, she had only made lychee chicken a few times, so she could not guarantee the success rate of this dish. But, she believed that she was the chosen chef, and would not easily fail in anything she did. I almost forgot to say, that the chicken feet should also be removed. After she processed the whole chicken, she began to prepare the marinade. First put in a small amount of salt, then add some white vinegar and black pepper powder. Mahjong is not sesame sauce. If there is no white vinegar, can apple cider vinegar be used instead? Fujiko Yukiko, it should be possible, right? Aren't they all vinegar? Pumpkin Dagwan and Mahjong Master, please don't change the seasoning or ingredients at will. What I mean is that Sister Fake always writes in the first line of the recipe that if you are not good at cooking, please don't change the ingredients or seasoning at will. Have you all forgotten this sentence? Once how the difference between apple cider vinegar and white vinegar is still very big. It is recommended that Mahjong Master go buy a bottle of white vinegar. Lovely do bayo. Then the question is, if there is no chicken, can duck be used instead? If there is no black pepper powder, can chili powder be used instead? No. Wen Jiu had just put the marinated chicken aside when he saw the barrage brushing whether to replace the ingredients. To be honest, if someone who is proficient in cooking is short of ingredients, he can indeed replace some of the ingredients according to the actual situation. But most of the viewers who watch our live broadcast are. Forget it, let's not talk about it. Especially this big guy with the nickname Mahjong. He is a local tyrant who has just emerged in her live broadcast room recently, and he has jumped to the 5th place in just 1 month. This big guy likes to post barrages more than other big guys, and often tries to make various recipes she posted on her homepage. It's a pity that I don't know if the other party has offended the kitchen god. 9 out of 10 times of cooking are unsuccessful. As for the remaining time, it was not just that the cooking was unsuccessful, but the kitchen was directly blown up. In short, Mahjong is really terrible in cooking. If you are trying it for the first time, it is best to follow my recipe. Wen Jiu thought of the horrific scene of Mahjong's kitchen explosion, and quickly stopped the other party's idea. Before a dish is successfully made, try not to use your imagination. Use the ingredients as they should, and don't replace them, because of the lack of seasoning. Although I understand that everyone has a creative heart, you still have to do everything within your ability. As soon as she finished speaking, the barrage of comments was like a heavy rain, making it difficult to see clearly. Galaxy sweetheart, Sister Fake finally stopped the Mahjong boss. Can the poor Mahjong boss continue to perform the kitchen explosion in the future? Whined like man. To be honest, Mahjong boss's kitchen explosion is my favorite show recently, second only to my beloved Sister Fake's live broadcast of making various delicacies. I'm so hungry. Hey, Sister Fake didn't mention Mahjong Master by name. Can you please not point out Mahjong Master directly? You will make Mahjong Master lose face, you know. I told you not to post Mahjong Master blowing up the kitchen in the live broadcast room. Why are you still posting Mahjong Master blowing up the kitchen here? Mahjong Master also needs face. Flower fist embroidered leg dabe sauce. I just saw Mahjong Master's name disappeared. Could it be that he was angry with your words? Mahjong Master, come back soon. I will definitely not laugh at you blowing up the kitchen. Wen Jiu happened to see the barrage sent by dabe sauce, and then she noticed that Mahjong's name disappeared from the rankings, indicating that the person had left her live broadcast room. Seeing this, she couldn't help but ask, where did Mahjong go? Is he really angry? In fact, everyone had made jokes about Majin before, and the other party never cared about these words, and sometimes even participated in them. So she couldn't figure out whether Majin was really angry. However, just as she finished speaking, she saw Majin's bullet screen. Because the other party has become the 5th on the list, the bullet screen sent out also has conspicuous special effects. Look, a fluorescent green bullet screen floated on the interface. Majin is not Mei Jiang. I don't know why I was stuck out just now. I shouldn't have missed any exciting parts. Right, Majin is not Mei Jiang. How come I heard Sister Fake ask me if I was angry as soon as I came in? What's wrong? Did you push the highlights of my kitchen explosion to her? Fujiko Sachiko? That's not the reason. Since Majin didn't leave because of anger, Wen Jiu wouldn't ask any more questions. She just continued to cook and explain, trying to let the audience watching the live broadcast learn how to cook these delicacies. Let's prepare the dough for the egg tart crust now, she said after preparing all the ingredients for the lychee crispy chicken, and then she started to prepare other ingredients. That would take more time. Because the dough needs to be put in the refrigerator after kneading, you can make the dough first, and then do the following steps, which will save more time. Fortunately, Hukiki and Hubaba helped her wash and cut the ingredients, so she only needed to do some marinating, kneading the dough, and mixing the proportions. Although it takes more time, the process is much easier, and she can interact more with the audience. Today's third update has also been successfully delivered. Thanks again to the lovely little angels 030. Damn it. I finished my homework and prepared to go to bed, only to find that I forgot to send the third update on time. Fortunately, I found it before going to bed. Cack. Chapter 1170 Lychee Chicken 1. Okay, what we have to do next is to assemble these ingredients. But before that, we have to slice the chicken first. After a busy period, Wen Jiu finally prepared the chicken for the lychee sliced chicken. However, the most critical step is still missing, which is to slice the chicken skin and chicken into thin slices. So she explained it to the audience in detail, while slicing the chicken skin into thin slices. Big brother monkey, Sister Fake's knife skills are as good as ever. I don't know if I can practice to this level in my lifetime. The green grass on the head, brother monkey, you should just be a gourmet. Just taste the food and comment on it. There is no need to emulate Sister Fake and embarrass yourself. The fruit of inspiration for buying a house. Every time I watch Sister Fake cooking, I find it very pleasing to the eye. It's just a pity that, after watching Sister Fake's live broadcast, it's hard to watch other food anchors live broadcasts. I always feel that their knife skills and cooking standards are not up to standard. Guess or not, there is no way Sister Fake is really the ceiling among food anchors. I feel like she can even participate in the God of Cooking contest. I'm so hungry. That's right. Why doesn't Sister Fake participate in the God of Cooking contest? I think if Sister Fake participates in the contest, she will definitely get the God of Cooking award directly. God of Cooking contest? Wen Jiu had just finished slicing the chicken, and when she looked up, she saw the barrage talking about this topic. In fact, she was not completely ignorant of the God of Cooking contest. Lulu had sent her a registration form for the contest before, hoping that she could participate in the contest and increase her fame. It's a pity that she has too many things to do on weekdays, and she really has no time to participate in this God of Cooking contest. Besides, the rewards of the God of Cooking contest are not very attractive. It's nothing more than a trophy awarded by the Federal Chefs Association, and then there is the title of God of Cooking, and a little bonus. To be honest, that little bonus is not as much as she can get from setting up a stall for one night, but she didn't look down on this little bonus. After all, she still maintains the virtue of thriftiness. She tries not to buy things that are not necessary and tries to save more star coins. She just calculated the time and energy she would waste and felt that this deal was not worth it. It takes at least 3 months to participate in the God of Cooking competition. Whether it is the preliminary round, the semi-finals or the subsequent series of competitions, she needs to take a spaceship to other planets to participate. If she has the time to participate in the competition, she might as well set up a stall for 3 months. So she finally declined Lulu's proposal and said that she just wanted to do a good job of live broadcasting at present. Once how, in fact, I'm quite looking forward to Sister Fake participating in the God of Cooking competition. In this way, we can not only taste more delicious dishes, but also take this opportunity to see Sister Fake's true appearance. Beauty speechless. If the big brother in front hadn't said it, I would have forgotten that I had to show my face in the competition. Little bear puff, puff. If the big brother in front hadn't brought this up, I would have thought that Sister Fake had a face like a cat with tears. Thanks to the big brother, it reminded me that Sister Fake still has a human face. Goopupa. What? Sister Fake actually has a human face? Isn't she a cat with tears? Fujikura Chico. It seems that there are more strange rumors. The barrage was still discussing lively. Although the topic was inexplicably deviated again, the atmosphere between the audience was still very friendly. Seeing this, Wen Jiu just shook his head helplessly and then continued to cut the lychee meat. This time, she bought lychees with small cores and thick flesh. After peeling the shell, sweet juice would overflow, and there was also a refreshing sweet scented osmanthus fragrance. Even if these lychees were not used for cooking, she could eat more than a dozen in one go. Because the lychees to be used for cooking were peeled in advance, she only needed to chop them and season them. You can peel the fruit in advance and put it in ice water for a while so that the fruit flesh will be firmer and more delicious, she said while cutting the lychee flesh. Cut the fruit flesh into this size and then use a small amount of salt and a little water starch. Rocky wants to eat all over the stars, although I used to be particularly resistant to using fruits to cook, but now seeing that the lychee chicken looks good, I suddenly started to drool, and the glutton in my stomach is also growling. Is this symptom normal? Cute doo-doo bayo. In fact, I want to eat lychee jelly more than lychee chicken. Ask Sister Fake when lychee jelly will be available in the small store. I think I will not be able to grab a tasting seed today, so I plan to focus all my energy on grabbing things in the small store. Little heart full of energy. Those money lovers who said they would never eat fruit dishes. If you secretly participate in the tasting later, I will curse you to be constipated for 3 months. Understand? Rocky wants to eat all over the galaxy. Actually, it was my cousin who was watching the live broadcast and posting barrages. I never said that I don't like fruit dishes. Cousin, can you at least consider my feelings when posting barrages? Huo threw a pillow out in dissatisfaction, and it hit Rocky not far away. He rarely came to the Imperial Capital Star to play with this cousin, but he didn't expect that the other party would use him as a shield. Now that he is still here, Rocky dares to post barrages like this. I don't know how many times the other party has used him as a shield in private. You hit me so hard. Are you trying to kill me? Rocky yelled a few times in embarrassment. I have more than one cousin. Can you not take it personally? Hearing this, Huo did not answer, but clicked on his own light screen panel, and then posted a bullet comment in the live broadcast. Room of Gongzi Fake. Mahjong is not sesame sauce. Rocky just chatted with me privately that he would not participate in the tasting competition later because he said that he would not eat dishes made of fruits, even if he starved to death. Please take a screenshot as evidence. If he participates in the competition, we will curse him together. I'm so hungry. I have taken a screenshot. I also sent the picture to all the money fans. I would like to ask everyone if I did the right thing. The green grass on your head. Be careful that Rocky will block you. Things are different now. He is the room manager. Rocky was still angry about the bullet comment posted by Huo, and when he saw the light screen panel, he remembered that he was the room manager. So he decisively used his room management authority to ban Huo's Bakalev broadcast account. Source today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030. Chapter 1171 Lychee Chicken 2. Damn it. Rocky Lockhart, you are such a nobody. You even blocked your cousin's account. Are you killing your cousin for the greater good? Huo wanted to post a few more comments to add fuel to the fire, but a window popped up on the screen the next second, showing that his Baka account had been kicked out of the live broadcast room by the room manager. Hey. Who allowed you to call me by my name? Rocky felt a little guilty. You made bad comments. What's wrong with me blocking your account? Hearing this, his cheeks puffed up with anger. You'd better unblock my account quickly, otherwise I'll tell my aunt that you only know how to bully me and order me around. Hearing this, Rocky could only grit his teeth and reply, if you dare to complain to my mother, I'll tell Gong Zifake that you were her big black fan before. He has always been particularly annoyed with his cousin who is only 14 or 15 years old, because the other party is essentially very bad, but likes to pretend to be a good kid in front of adults. So more than a month ago, when his mother said that Hu Yizhuo was coming to visit the capital star, he wanted to pack up and run away overnight. But his mother and his father had already made an appointment to go on a trip, so they forced him to stay at home to accompany this dead child. At first, he was really complaining, and he was always planning how to escape smoothly without being discovered and blamed by his parents. But later, he accidentally discovered Hu Yizhuo's secret, and he successfully used this secret to threaten the other party to be obedient so that he could live a comfortable life for nearly a month. However, the facts have proved that naughty children will always be naughty children. Don't go. Hu Yizhuo shouted anxiously and annoyed. I didn't know she was such a nice person before, and I didn't know her cooking was really delicious. I was misguided, understand? I'm now a loyal fan of Gong Zifake. I will go wherever she points. I will never go east if she says west, and I will never go west if she says east. And I have given her gifts to get to the 5th place on the list. Doesn't this show how true my feelings for her are? He was blinded by the black material posted by the water army at the beginning, which made him the leader of the black fans of Gong Zifake. Later, he watched the live broadcast replay with Rocky several times and learned about the real Gong Zifake in the Money fan group, so he changed his previous disgust and joined the Money fan group. Alas, young and frivolous, don't know people well. Think about it, he was actually brainwashed by the water army before and led the rhythm of Gong Zifake several times on Xingbo. Fortunately, he turned back in time and did not cause any serious consequences. It was for this reason that he gave Gong Zifake so many gifts as a silent way of apologizing to him. Hearing this, Rocky did not rush to refute anything, but just stared at the light screen panel. Because the lychee skin chicken and lychee jelly that he had been curious about for a long time were finally going to be tasted. Although he would automatically get a place as the number 1 on the list, he still liked to participate in the taste competition. Regardless of whether he could get it or not, the main thing was to have a sense of participation. Seeing this, Hu Yizhuo quickly switched to his Baka account and immediately entered Gong Zifake's live broadcast room to participate in the competition. Although he was already focused enough and had specially practiced his reaction ability, he still failed to grab a tasting position because there were too many participants. Just when he was dejected and wanted to beat Rocky up, he saw the other party suddenly cheering, as if he had won the lottery. I got it. I got it. He was even more angry when he heard this. If Rocky hadn't blocked his account, he wouldn't have to participate in the taste competition and compete with hundreds of millions of viewers for hand speed. So he decisively said in a cold voice, either give me the one you snatched or give me the one you got for free. Otherwise I will send a message to my aunt now to let her know that you bully me every day. Can you have some shame? Why do I bully you every day? Rocky clenched his fist silently. You and I have nothing to do with each other. When have I ever bullied you? Although he was very annoyed with his cousin, he really had never bullied him. On the one hand, it was because he was afraid that Hu Yizhuo would complain, and on the other hand, he was disdainful of arguing with children. In short, he really did nothing. He just asked the other party to be more obedient. After the voice fell, Hu Yizhuo still refused to give up and pestered Rocky for a long time. Okay, give you a share. Rocky finally compromised and gave the lychee sliced chicken he snatched to the naughty child Hu Yizhuo. Because there was only the one that was taken for free, he did not give in, no matter how the other party acted coquettishly. Please, it's good enough that he is willing to share a portion of the lychee chicken. It's absolutely impossible for him to have lychee jelly. Point humph. Although Rocky was dissatisfied in his heart, he didn't say anything after all. So he carefully looked at the lychee chicken in front of him hoping to use this delicacy to heal his injured heart. Under the golden chicken skin were the white lychees, and below were the juicy green cucumber slices, and a lettuce leaf that was only half the size of a palm. To be honest, just looking at the appearance, he thought it was quite good looking, but he didn't feel as hungry as before. Gongzi Fa-ke, is it really going to fail this time? Thinking about it, he quietly looked at Rocky on the side and saw that the other party picked up the lychee chicken and ate it in one bite without even a moment's hesitation. Seeing this, he couldn't help but ask a few questions out of curiosity. How is it? Is it delicious? Did it fail? No. Rocky showed a happy expression of enjoyment while eating. It's so good. I feel like I'm going to die. He looked at the other party carefully for a long time and then picked up the lychee skin chicken with doubts and ate it. In fact, he personally didn't believe that dishes made with fruits would be delicious. He just wanted to please Gongzi Fa-ke by posting those barrages before. But who can tell him what's going on with this crispy chicken skin? What's going on with this fresh, sweet and juicy lychee? The key is that the freshness and saltiness of the former and the sweetness of the latter are not abrupt, and they even blend perfectly together when he chews, bringing him a refreshing experience like a sunny day after rain. Damn. What kind of fairy combination is this? He couldn't help but sigh. The chicken skin was cut into thin slices, and it was so crispy when he first put it in his mouth that he was shocked, and even the residue that fell down had a rich and fresh fragrance. The seasoned lychee meat is still full of juice, and the sweet scented osmanthus fragrance is not covered up. Even though he has swallowed the food now, a hint of sweetness still remains on the tip of his tongue. Help, how can fruit dishes be so delicious? He must be hallucinating, right? Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Thank you to every little angel for your support and love. 030. Whisper. The progress will take off in the next few days. Everyone be mentally prepared. Open bracket closed bracket closed bracket. Chapter 1172. Stir-fried shrimp with peach 1. As the saying goes, luck is subject to the law of conservation. Although he did not get the lychee chicken and was temporarily banged by the hateful Rocky, he was lucky enough to get the peach fried shrimp. Looking at the steaming peach fried shrimp in front of him, he swallowed his saliva uncomfortably. Compared with the lychee chicken, which looked good but did not arouse his appetite, this peach fried shrimp really made his mouth water. The rosy and shiny shrimp was drizzled with full sauce, constantly emitting a fragrance that made him hungry. The pink and tender color was particularly beautiful, very suitable for taking a photo to show off. So he decisively picked up the chopsticks and picked up a curled shrimp. The cleanly peeled shrimp meat was elastic and slippery in the mouth, and it would burst out juice when bitten gently. It was so tender that he really couldn't help himself. In addition to the fresh fragrance of the shrimp itself, there is also the sweet aroma of peach, which tastes salty and sweet, which is quite wonderful. The most important thing is that the shrimp threads of each shrimp are peeled cleanly, so it tastes good and there is no feeling of sand on the mouth. The aroma of minced garlic and the aroma of black pepper are intertwined, adding more layers to the salty and sweet flavor. Then he picked up a piece of peach meat. Although the peach meat lost some sweetness after being fried until soft, it added a lot of freshness from the shrimp, and it still tasted amazing to him. Oh my god. It turns out that cooking with fruits is so delicious. Ho ate the whole plate of fried shrimp with peaches, and even picked up the plate to lick the sauce on it clean. He apologized for his ignorance. It turns out that cooking with fruits can also be so delicious. After saying this, Rocky on the side also agreed and echoed, I just found out that fruit dishes can be so delicious. I have to quickly send a message to Sister Fa-ke to apologize for my ignorance and recklessness before. He really didn't expect that dishes cooked with fruits would be so delicious. He thought Sister Fa-ke wanted to make some innovative and strange dark dishes. Sure enough, he still knew nothing about Sister Fa-ke's cooking skills. Brother, I heard that Sister Fa-ke is from planet 3047. Don't you have several private interstellar spaceships? Find a time to take me to planet 3047 to play, and by the way, go to Teo offline store to experience it. He rolled his eyes when he heard what Ho said. Why should I take you there? Because you make a fuss every day to complain. Because you make a fuss in my house every day? Or because you steal my mecha to go out? If Hu Yizhuo was a well-behaved little brother, he would definitely agree without saying a word. Unfortunately, the other party is not. Oh, you are a great man, and don't bear grudges, Hu Yizhuo shamelessly said. Don't you want to eat Tao Iao's dessert? Hearing this, Rocky rolled his eyes again. I want to, but I don't want to take you with me. He has a private interstellar spaceship and can go anytime he wants. The reason why he hasn't been to planet 3047 yet is because he is afraid of disturbing Gong Zifake. There is no way. He admires Gong Zifake so much that he is afraid that he will not be able to control himself and go to him. Although he already knows Gong Zifake's real age, it does not affect his impulse to get to know him. Come on, who wouldn't like a cute sister who can cook all kinds of delicious food? Cousin, you are my only brother. You are my best brother. Hu Yizhuo launched a crazy spoiled skill. Just take me to planet 3047 to play once. Rocky shook his head decisively and refused. No, no way. Let's not mention the fact that I don't want to take you at all. Take the fact that you still have half a month to go to school. If I really take you to planet 3047 to play, you will definitely not be able to get back to the military academy in time to report. After hearing this, Hu Yizhuo instantly returned to normal. It was all because the food made by Gong Zifake was so delicious that he forgot that he still had half a month to go to school. Why did you tell me that school starts in half a month? He suddenly lay on the sofa and rolled around wildly. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Can't people not go to school? Hearing this, Rocky couldn't help but sneered. No, you'd better go back to school honestly. By the way, your mother sent me a message a few days ago asking me to send you back to Pangu Star in a private interstellar spaceship. He felt even more uncomfortable when he heard this. He didn't expect that he would not go out to play on the other party's private interstellar spaceship, but be sent back to the hellish military academy. So he lay on the sofa with a sense of despair. Why do people have to go to school? Can't we be assigned jobs directly? TSK, you don't have a job now, so you think work is better than school? Rocky sneered disdainfully. School is so interesting. After classes and training every day, you can have fun with your friends. If you go to work, you will have to face overtime. Even when you are playing outside, you will be caught by your boss and asked to work. Hearing this, he sighed heavily. If school is as fun as you say, I wouldn't be like a dead fish now. Cousin, you studied at the Imperial Capital Military Academy back then. How could you know how hard it is to be in Beichuan Academy? Isn't Beichuan Academy good? Rocky was a little curious when he heard this. Besides, your mother asked you to apply to the Imperial Capital Military Academy back then, but you insisted on choosing Beichuan Academy. Why do you think Beichuan Academy is not good now? Citizens like them who were born and raised on the Imperial Capital Star would generally apply directly to the Imperial Capital Military Academy, unless there were any unexpected circumstances. Of course, registration is one thing, but whether you can be selected is another. There are people like Hu Yizhuo who directly apply for other military academies, but those people choose other military academies because they know that they can't meet the standards of the Imperial Capital Military Academy. But Hu Yizhuo's ability is still very good, and he will definitely be selected if he applies for the Imperial Capital Military Academy. I never thought that the other party would choose Beichuan Academy and ran away from home despite the opposition of his family and only came back after receiving the admission letter. Oh, don't mention it. I was young and ignorant. Hu Yizhuo turned over and sat up aggrievedly. I heard my grandfather say that Beichuan Academy was good, and then I was confused for a while and applied for Beichuan Academy. Although he is a native citizen of the Imperial Capital Star, his grandfather is an original citizen of Pangu Star. Pangu Star is the planet with the strongest ancient Chinese culture among many planets. Therefore, after his grandfather retired from the military region, he stayed on Pangu Star and refused to leave. One time he went back to visit him and learned that studying at Beichuan Academy was very interesting and not as rigid as other military academies, so he resolutely applied for Beichuan Academy. Who knew? Oh, let's not talk about it. BIU today's third update has also been successfully delivered. 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1173 Stir-fried shrimp with peach 2. Mahjong is not sesame sauce. Sister Farke, can you open a branch on Pangu Star this year? Congratulations on getting rich. It may not be possible this year. I will try to open a branch on Pangu Star within 3 years. Mahjong is not sesame sauce. Woo 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 woo. Can't you come this year? Congratulations on getting rich typing. Sister Jiu, how should I reply to this message? Because when Jiu was still busy in the kitchen, the message was sent by Zikingayu. Although the live broadcast has ended at this time, Wen Jiu still has to finish cooking several other dishes. After all, the ingredients bought back cannot be wasted, and now there are many people eating at home, and only 4 dishes are not enough to fill the gaps between their teeth. You said it would definitely not work this year. Pangu is too far from planet 3047. When Jiu fried another plate of peach shrimp, just reply this sentence. Go wash your hands and prepare to eat. As soon as she finished speaking, she put the plate of peach fried shrimp aside and then sprinkled a handful of chopped green onions into the freshly stewed pork rib soup. She was still busy making the meal and really had no time to chat with Mahjong. Who Kiki, you can make fish flavored eggplant now, and we can have dinner after it's done. After she finished speaking, she walked out of the kitchen with peach fried shrimp and asked Hu Baba to bring the stewed pork rib soup. Because she had asked Kaoshishi to call people before, everyone was sitting at the table waiting. When they saw her and Hu Baba bringing out the dishes, everyone got off the table and came to help. Jiu, call me next time. Ruman was the first to grab the peach fried shrimp and put it on the table. You work so hard to cook, we can't let you do everything. This is just serving a dish. You just call a few of us. Hearing this, Wen Jiu just smiled and nodded in response, then found an empty seat to sit down, waiting for Hu Kiki's Beijing style shredded pork with sauce. However, the Beijing style shredded pork with sauce is quite fast to cook. So everyone gathered at the table in a short while. Everyone is an old acquaintance. There is nothing to be particular about. Everyone started eating together. Zikingayu took the lead in picking up a shrimp. As early as when Wen Jiu was doing the live broadcast, he was so greedy. Now he finally got the chance to taste it carefully. The plump and juicy shrimps are wrapped in a thick red sauce, combining the freshness of the shrimps themselves with the sweetness of the peach meat, and it tastes sour and sweet, and is particularly appetizing. The soft, sweet and tender peach meat has a refreshing summer scent, mixed with a hint of garlic and pepper, which makes people intoxicated just by smelling it for a moment. Whether it is shrimp or peach meat, he can eat it to his heart's content. To be honest, he never thought that shrimp could be paired with peaches to cook. At that time, when Jiu said that he wanted to use peaches to cook, and he thought that the other party was too busy and stressed recently, and suddenly became the king of dark cuisine. Facts have proved that his sister Jiu is still his sister Jiu, and she is always a god in cooking. Wow. This peach egg tart is delicious. Because Kaoshishi likes desserts more than meals, she stretched out her magic claws to the peach egg tart from the beginning. The layers of crispy crust broke into pieces when bitten, turning into countless slags with a burnt aroma, dancing between her lips and teeth. Then came the fragrant and tender egg tart core, and a very tempting egg fragrance spread. Unlike the ordinary egg tarts before, the surface of the peach egg tart was sprinkled with a lot of chopped peach meat. Therefore, she quickly tasted the crispy, tender, and sweet peach meat, and at the same time, there was a refreshing sweet fragrance that made her intoxicated. This was a richer and more tempting taste than ordinary egg tarts. It's really delicious. When will you put this on Teo? Seeing that Kaoshishi was eating it very happily, Ruman took a peach egg tart curiously and tasted it. Unexpectedly, the peach egg tart is not only beautiful, but also tastes amazing. So she thought that she would go back to work in the college in a few days, and she could bring some peach egg tarts back to share with other teachers. After all, she hasn't been back to the college for a long time, and she still needs to maintain interpersonal relationships. Hearing this, Wen Jiu replied, while picking up the dishes, "Wait until Taoiao is renovated and reopened. If you want, Teacher Yu, I will get you 5 or 6 boxes." She knew that the new semester of 3047 Academy would start in a few days. At that time, not only would Zikingayu and Kaioshishi go back to school, but Yuruman would also go back to work after recovering from her illness. Therefore, she had long thought of preparing some things for these people. Whether it was for her own consumption, or for sending to teachers and classmates, it could be used. No, 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 Yuruman refused after hearing this. "Zio Jiu, I know you are good to me, but you have to let me go to Taoiao store to experience it, right? Otherwise, the brilliant membership card you gave me before will never come in handy." It was just a few boxes of desserts. There was really no need for Wen Jiu to give them away for free. However, the other party still refused to give in and continued to pull with her. Seeing this, Zhu Wangming, who was sitting next to him, couldn't help but smile and said, "How about this? I have a way to have the best of both worlds. That is, Zio Jiu directly gives the dessert to me, and then let Teacher Yu go to the store to buy it herself. This can not only satisfy Teacher Yu's desire to buy things, but also put an end to Zio Jiu's obsession with giving away desserts." The two people who were still in a tug of war united their camps when they heard this. "Zhu Wangming, you didn't wake up this morning and were still dreaming, right?" Yuruman pretended to be angry and tapped the table lightly. "I tell you, don't think about taking anything from my Zio Jiu for free. She lets you eat and drink for free here, which is already the limit." After the voice fell, Wen Jiu followed closely and said, "I think Dr. Zhu is indeed still asleep. Of course, the possibility of daydreaming cannot be ruled out." They sang the same tune, leaving Zhu Wangming speechless. In the end, Zhu Wangming had to pick up his own dishes and slip into the kitchen under the pretext of washing dishes. Seeing this, Yuruman smiled and changed the subject. "By the way, school will start in a few days. Are Zio Bangli and Zio Huahu ready?" Zikingayu, who was suddenly called, quickly swallowed the food in his mouth. "Wo is definitely ready, but I don't want to go back." After he finished speaking, he realized that he had inadvertently said his true thoughts. Oops, he forgot that Yuruman was a teacher at the 3047 Academy. Seeing that the atmosphere became awkward, he had to stammer and add, "It's not that I don't want to go back to school, I just can't bear to leave Sister Jiu, Brother Hei and Nini." The first half of the sentence was false, and the second half was true. When he thought about going back to the academy to attend classes, he could only see Wen Jiu and others on weekends, and he felt an indescribable sense of grievance. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Thank you for the support of every lovely little angel. Chapter 1174 Our Respective Lives 1. Fortunately, Yuruman did not continue to ask. She just put on an ambiguous smile and looked at Kaioshishi, who had not answered yet. Unlike Zikingayu, who was confused just now, Kaioshishi answered without a single leak, "I'm ready to go back to the academy for classes. I just don't want to leave Jiu and Nini, but there is no way. I still have to go to school." She wanted to stay outside the academy and have fun with Wen Jiu and others. However, she did not get a place to go to the military academy directly, so she had to fight for it with her own efforts. "It's okay, I understand your feelings." Yuruman smiled and continued, "Because I also like to have holidays when I was a student. So Zio Banli, you should raise your head quickly and don't learn from your Uncle Zhu to be a turtle." After the voice fell, Zikingai raised his head. His face was as red as a tomato, and it can be seen that he is really embarrassed now. Seeing this, Yuruman just chuckled and changed the subject. "There is one more thing I have to tell you. Zio and Nini may have to leave early and can't be classmates with you." She had just finished speaking when Wen Jiu asked in confusion, "Why didn't we communicate before? When Zio Bangli and Zio Huahua get promotion spots in the college competition, the 5 of us will enter the Ria Military Academy together." It's like this. Xiaochu and Nini are not young anymore, she patiently explained to everyone, especially Xiaochu. If he delays for another year, he will exceed the maximum age limit of the military academy's admission standards. Actually, I only learned about this news yesterday. I thought the military academy would relax the conditions for you, and the federal headquarters didn't mention this at the beginning, so I didn't pay much attention to the age limit. It wasn't until Dean Huang forwarded a document to me yesterday that I learned that Xiaochu had been automatically included in the admission list and must report to the Ria Military Academy within a month. Because she was about to return to work at the 3047 Academy, and Li Qinsin voluntarily gave up the position of Dean of Teaching, so she started to deal with the affairs before the school started. Chu Jian, who was originally tidying up the table, stopped immediately after saying, "No wonder I received an email a few days ago, saying that I should report to the Ria Military Academy within a month." When he received the email a few days ago, he thought it was a fraudulent email, so he didn't care much, and didn't bother to say it. After all, he just submitted an admission intention form to the Ria Military Academy, and did not indicate that he would report to school within this year, so this email notifying him to report must be a fake email. I never thought that it was true. So you have received the message? Yu Ruman looked at Chu Jian in surprise. You didn't think it was a fraudulent email? She had just finished speaking when she saw the other party slowly nodded. Okay, it's a good thing to have anti-fraud awareness, and she can't blame this child. Anyway, Xiaochu, you have to pack your luggage in the next 2 days and leave for the Ria Military Academy as soon as possible. She changed her previous gentleness and acted serious. I will arrange the interstellar spaceship ticket for you, and the teacher who will accompany you to the Ria Military Academy. Although Chu Jian was sent to the seedling base a long time ago, he is still a student of the 3047 Academy in the final analysis. Whether as a teacher, or out of personal feelings, she will help Chu Jian arrange these things. Before Chu Jian could answer, he heard Zikingai curiously asked, "Teacher Yu, don't freshmen usually enroll in the second half of the year? Why is it that Brother Hen's turn is in the first half of the year?" It's not that Zikingai didn't believe Yu Ruman's words, he was just simply curious. Because whether it is a military academy or a preparatory military academy, new students are generally enrolled in the second half of the year. So he was very curious why Chu Jian had to go to the Ria Military Academy in the first half of the year. It's like this for freshmen in general, but your brother Harry is not an ordinary freshman. Yu Ruman had expected that someone would ask this question. On the one hand, it's because your brother Harry is very capable, and on the other hand, it's because of your brother Henry's age. So the Ria Military Academy decided to arrange for him to start studying directly from the second half of the first grade. Anyway, the first grade of the military academy is mainly to consolidate basic knowledge and teach you new students the rules of the military academy. It won't have any particularly big impact if you skip it. After she finished explaining, everyone understood. In short, Chu Jian must enroll in advance and can't wait until Wen Jiu and others go to school together. As for Stephanie, Ria Military Academy hopes that Nini will enter Ria Military Academy as a new student in the second half of the year. She summarized the documents she received. Although she can wait a few years at her age, like Xiaochu, who entered at the highest age line, and then she will be in the same class as you guys. But I personally still hope that she can enroll as soon as possible, and it's best to follow the arrangements of the Ria Military Academy. The main reason is that Stephanie's situation is too special. She grew up in a nursery base since she was a child, and there are certain problems with many cognitive concepts. Although she arranged psychological counseling for Stephanie, some things cannot be changed in a short period of time, and the other party is a very stubborn person. Once he determines something, it is difficult to change. So she thinks that if Stephanie wants to integrate into society, it is better to send her to school as soon as possible to interact with outsiders. Of course, she is not disgusted with the other party. She and Cynthia are friends after all, and she will definitely help take care of the other party's sister. And Stephanie is Wen Jiu's good friend, so she will take care of her a little bit in this regard. So she doesn't want to change Stephanie's nature. She just hopes that the other party can adapt to the current society. After all, Stephanie can't be a child for a lifetime, and she can't stay by Wen Jiu's side forever. Sooner or later, the other party will have to make her way in this world alone. Simply put, people must learn to grow up. Nini, what do you think? Out of respect, Ruman still asked Stephanie's thoughts. I don't know. Stephanie twisted her fingers in confusion. If I choose to enroll in the second half of the year, will I not be able to see Wen Jiu? Hearing this, Ruman shook her head. Not really. You can come back to see Wen Jiu during the holidays, or Wen Jiu can come to your place to play when he is free. Stephanie did not answer after hearing this, but just looked at Wen Jiu blankly, not knowing what she was thinking. Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Thanks again to the little angels for their support. 030. Chapter 1175 Our Respective Lives 2. Seeing that Stephanie couldn't make up her mind for a while, Wen Jiu ordered Chu Jian and other people who didn't participate in cooking to continue cleaning up. Anyway, Stephanie couldn't enter school until the second half of the year at the earliest, and she didn't have to make a decision in the short term like Chu Jian. So everyone kept silent tacitly, waiting for Stephanie to think it over before talking about it. After cleaning up the kitchen and the dining room, Chu Jian went out to find Liu Chu, who had returned to Donghu district. After all, he would leave for a military academy soon, and he had to tell him about this. Otherwise, if he suddenly disappeared, Liu Chu would be anxious again. If he and Nini both enter school early, then won't the three of us have to call them seniors in the future? After cleaning up, Ziqingai was too lazy to go upstairs, so she simply lay down on the sofa in the living room and closed her eyes to rest. Hearing this, Kaioshishi, who was combing the fur of Fox Baba, couldn't help but laugh and said, even if Hij and Nini don't enroll early, they are still our seniors. Hij was a student of 3047 Academy before, and Nini is 2 or 3 years older than us. So in theory, we should call them seniors. But if we enter the military academy together, the previous seniority will not count. Ziqingai pursed her lips a little aggrieved. Alas, it's meaningless to say more now. Hij must enroll early. He thought everyone could go to school and play together, but he didn't expect that they would have to separate after all the twists and turns. Sure enough, separation in life is always common. But fortunately, it will only take a few years. 1 or 2 years at the fastest, 3 or 4 years at the shortest. Besides, Chu Jian and Stephanie still have holidays, and they can go back to planet 3047 to play during the holidays. In short, they can reunite and have fun together again. Fortunately, Jiu can wait for us to get a place before enrolling, Kaioshishi said, while combing Fox Baba's fur. But speaking of which, isn't Jiu going to Desolate Planet in a few days? Hearing this, Ziqingai thought for a moment before nodding. Yes, Sister Jiu said she would go to see if the route is normal, and by the way, send back the gifts for the little monsters. Although he especially wanted to go to Desolate Planet to take a look at what the world where the monsters live is like, he still had to go back to the academy to study hard and make progress every day. Then we won't see Jiu for a long time, Kaioshishi said in a low mood. It feels like Jiu, Hij and Nini are ahead of us. He joked when he saw that the other party was in a bad mood. Don't say that, Jiu will misunderstand. Oh, that's not what I meant. Kaioshishi pretended to be angry and waved his fist. I just feel that everyone is moving forward, only the two of us are still standing still. Alas, I don't know how to describe it. Hearing this, he sighed first and then replied, in fact, you don't have to think so much. Hij and Nini are going to the future they should have had. If they hadn't been abducted by the 3rd military region, they would have lived a happy life in the military academy. Although he also wanted to catch up with Wen Jiu and others, there are some things that he can't do just because he wants to. Let's not talk about Wen Jiu, who is like the heroine of a novel, and take Chu Jian and Stephanie for example. The former is also a very rare dual type ability user. If he goes to school normally, he will definitely pass the competition and get a place to enter the 5 major military academies in advance and become an excellent military district soldier in the future. Although the latter is a more common water type ability user, his combat ability is definitely the strongest among water type ability users, so it is not difficult to get a place in the 5 major military academies. Both of them are very powerful in themselves, and sooner or later they will embark on the road of being a strong man and have their glorious future. So he didn't have a particularly big feeling about this. At most, he hoped that time would pass faster so that he could participate in the college competition and then embark on his own road to being a strong man earlier. His only obsession may be Wen Jiu, because he thinks that the other party is really amazing. Although Wen Jiu is an orphan with no one to rely on, the other party is a person who can do everything. Whether in combat or life, Wen Jiu can completely crush him. Therefore, his obsession is to defeat Wen Jiu one day. Of course, he doesn't want to defeat the other party completely, but he just wants to win a little in some aspects. In short, he still hoped that the 3 of them could live well and embrace their own beautiful future. You are right. Kyoshish's emotions had calmed down. Brother Hei and Nini will embrace their bright future. She was not envious, jealous, or hateful. She just couldn't bear to be separated from her friends. You know, she had already fallen out with her family, and now the only ones who could bring her warmth and company were these friends with different personalities. Therefore, she really cherished these friends, and when she thought about being separated for a long time, she felt an indescribable bitterness. However, after she heard what Zikingai said, the bitterness gradually eased and even disappeared. She naturally hoped that her friends could live better and would not stop them from going to a better future. Besides, Zikingai was still with her, and Wen Jiu was only away for a while, and he would soon be back from the desolate planet, so they could still get together. Even if Chujian and Stephanie went to other planets to study, they could come back to play with them during the holidays. So, it's better to get rid of negative emotions. Thinking of this, she asked Baba curiously, "Baba, have you thought about your future plans?" Mainly because she thought that she and Wen Jiu and others would leave planet 3047 sooner or later and go to other planets to make a living. Therefore, she was a little curious about what Ukiki and Baba would do in the future. Would they continue to follow them as pets? In the future? I will just follow the boss in the future. Baba answered as a matter of course. I'm the second demon to follow the boss after all. I can't be assigned to work like other demons, right? Even if the boss really lets me work, I have to have a management position. I can't be lumped together with other demons. She dared to speak her true thoughts, only because Wen Jiu was not there at the moment. However, just as she finished her words, she heard Ukiki sneer, You don't have any extraordinary skills. It's only a matter of time before you are sent to work. As for being a manager, don't you have any idea in your mind? Today's third update has also been successfully delivered. Please check it out, my lovely little angels. 030. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.